Hello, hi, and welcome. Hope everyone's having a good time. Hey, Captain Nintendo. Hey, Belandino. Thank you so much to Mobile Gaming Chronicles for the free bits over on Twitch. That's really, really nice of you. Thank you, thank you. Hope you're having a great day. Hey to James. Hey to YS Bunny. Hi, Fire Guy, and hey to Brader. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly there. Hey, Darth. Hey, and hey to everyone else who's in the chat. Hope everyone's having a good time. Oh yeah, I'm glad. I'm glad everyone's having a good one. So yeah, if you've been watching the streams over the last week or so, you'll have known that I've been sort of getting back into the streaming stuff. Yeah, and there's not much else to, I'm enjoying it. I'm like the thing with streaming is I go through phases of it where I really love doing it, and then I don't really love doing it. So it's we're currently in the I like doing it phase. Really cool intro. You nailed it. Pronounced. Oh, thank you. Thanks. I appreciate that. I'm glad I managed to get it right. I'm bad with pronunciations. But yeah. So today, this is kind of a follow up to the Doom 32X in retrospect that went up on the channel like a month ago. So the idea is that I'm going to be doing streams where I show off the games in retrospects, and this one is going to be focused entirely around the 32X version of Doom. Now, if you've never played the 32X version of Doom, it was released in 1994. It was one of the launch titles for the 32X console. It was a bit of a mess. The 32X itself was just really badly conceived idea for the Genesis, especially with the Saturn like peering over the horizon. I'm sorry, I can't watch the stream yesterday. That's fine, James. You don't need to apologize. Maximum difficulty stream. Yeah, so I mean, the whole point of this is if you've got any questions about this version or you want me to do something with this version, this is your chance to sort of say, hey, can you show me this? Hey, can you show me that? I want to listen to the music. So, be quiet. Let me listen to the music. The idea is like, I want you to be able to experience what this is. Now, obviously, as I mentioned in the description, I'm not doing this on real hardware. Unfortunately, I don't have the budget for a 32X and a Genesis and Doom at the moment. I do have a lot of real hardware, so like I have like a proper I do have a proper like collection of consoles. So I have an original PlayStation, Nintendo 64, GameCube. I have a lot of those, but unfortunately the 32X and the Genesis are two that I don't have right now. If you're playing this on nightmare mode, 32X is hard, it's just music being farty. Yeah, that's the thing. This version isn't that bad. So what I'm gonna do, give me a second. We're going to jump over to that. There we go. I would argue the Saturn version is inferior. I would agree with that as well. I think that's a very first statement to make. So the first thing to note about this version is that there is no loading and saving. You can't load and save your game like you can in other versions. 32X does actually have a handful of good games. It does, but unfortunately, like I would argue, the whole platform was just it really shouldn't have been allowed to get to where it did. It was a bad idea, in my opinion, especially because like the Saturn was literally around the corner, and I think that the internal squabbling between Sega of America and Japan, it really messed the company up overall. Yeah. So the idea is that like I'm going to cover the Resurrection and the Fusion ports in the future. Right now, I just want to kind of get to the official ports. Well, no, so James, so there's actually the 32X Resurrection and 32X Fusion projects. They're kind of branches of the same thing, but basically it makes this a lot better. Imagine if there was a world where the 32X never happened and the Saturn released normally. That would be really, really fun. I think Sega probably would have preferred that, to be honest. So what I'm going to do now, I just want to check the sounds and all that. I'm going to turn it up a tiny bit so you guys can actually hear it a bit better. Right, so we're going to start playing here. Now, like I said, the first thing to note here, there isn't actually a load and save function. Hold up. Has it forgotten my Because I set all this up before the stream. Has it actually forgotten? Oh, it has. Oh, it has. Okay. Just a second. I have to reassign all the controls. So yeah, like I mentioned, I'm not using real hardware on this one. Normally, I love using real hardware, but unfortunately with this, it's just a bit of a pain in the backside, to be honest. Right. Cool. So the main thing to take note of here is that you can choose which level you want to go into, but you'll notice there are only 15 levels. Now, like I said in the in retrospect video, there's actually 17 levels in this game, but you can only access the secret level, which is military base, E1M9, by going through level 3, and you can only access the final level, which is Fortress of Mystery. You can only access that if you don't cheat. So we're going to have to play all 15 of these levels in order to get through this. Unless you count the shower. I thought there were 20. No, Darth. There's only 17 in this version. So as you can see here, we are in the depths of Doom on the 32X here, and you can see it does have a map function, so you know it does have like the niceties of like Doom. Oh, thank you, Kyle. I appreciate that. Yeah, I try to keep things interesting on the channel. With the 32X version, all the levels and bosses. No, so the 32X version used the Jaguar levels. So this is just to give you kind of an idea of what it looks like, this version. You can see here that it's not great. It's not particularly hot to look at. What I'm actually going to do, give me a second. I just realised I've stretched this a little bit. So what I'm going to do, we're going to fix that. Because I want to give a fair representation of what this looks like. So give me a second. There we go. There we go. That's better. Looks like alpha. So the thing is, like I said, if you wanted to play a modern version of this, the 32X Resurrection and the 32 Resurrection Fusion projects are great. And like I said, I'm going to cover them on the channel at some point. Because the 32X, you have to remember, it was developed basically by John Carmack in like 2 to 3 months. This version was thrown together like at the last minute. No UV difficulty. So I'm going to play through on Hurt Me Plenty initially, James, and then I'm going to play through on Ultraviolence later. Because if I play through on Ultraviolence now, I won't be able to show off like some of the things I want to show off. First 3DO Doom has badass music. It does. But the thing you have to remember is that the 32X, it's actually using the Genesis's native sound card, so it's not actually using the 32X sound drivers, which I think would have made for better music. Didn't take too long on Hurt Me Plenty. Yeah, so the idea is I'll do Hurt Me Plenty, and then we'll come back around and do Ultraviolence on the second playthrough. Just because I want to sort of show this off to people. Listen to that music. Yeah. The music in this version, by the way, it is the gift that keeps on giving. I know some people say it's not that bad, but for me it is quite bad. I always describe this, by the way, this opening, as a fire alarm going off. It's like one of those fire alarm. It's like one of those fire smoke detectors going off. Yeah, so the UI is still there when you complete the level, and to be fair, like, it's very impressive that all this is here. You have to remember the 32X was not really designed for games like this, but they were Sega were desperate. They were desperate for this to come onto the 32X, and they paid a lot of money to make that happen. They published this. They bought the rights to it. They wanted this to happen. How did the 32X version look good? I'm pretty sure it doesn't do that in the original game when you complete a level. Would you rather play SNES? I actually prefer the Super Nintendo version. I know that someone's going to say, well, you know, that's worse. And technically it is worse, but I also think, like, it's got a bit more ambition than this one. And you have to remember, this was the first officially released console port. This beat the Jaguar to the market by about a week, even though Carmack worked on them both. The 32X launched on was it the 21st of November, 1994? Yes, so this beat the Jaguar version by about a week, but this uses the Jaguar's levels because Carmack worked on this version. He actually went to Sega's headquarters for like a month and worked with them to get this working. So the reason this doesn't have all the levels in it is because the Inferno episode is missing completely. So if you're wondering like where the missing levels are, it's pretty much the entirety of the Inferno episode. You'll also notice there, if you look at the items, they don't dim with the lights in the sector like in the PC version. They just stay brightly lit. Yeah, Carmack ruined the Saturn version, and he also like ruined several other versions. But like I said, I'll play Ultraviolence once we've done a full loop of this, because I'm going to be streaming for a few hours anyway, so we may as well, like, you know, enjoy this. Oh wait, is this secret still here? It is. So a big problem with this version as well for me is that it just feels like it feels kind of rushed, and you can feel that from the you can tell that because obviously they were cutting and hacking everything out to get this through the door. I feel bad for mentioning this, but Doom Guy's head is mirrored when looking right. It is. If you look at his hair, if you look at Doom Guy's face at the bottom, when he kind of looks, his hair moves, and that's because they mirrored the effects because they wanted to save on assets. Like I said, there's all kinds of weird little quirks with this one. Monsters are one side too. Yes, but it works weirdly in this version. I'll see if I can find an example to show you. But basically, the monsters look like they can only look one way, but they can still actually see around them. So the thing is, they can actually be looking right at you and not wake up because they're technically looking the other way. When we do the Ultraviolence playthrough, I'll show you, because there's a great example in map 1 where you can sort of see the enemies looking at you, but they don't react to you. Monsters are animated billboards. Pretty much, yeah. I mean, that's kind of the thing with this version. If you look at where the enemies are moving around, they're moving side to side. That's because they don't have any sprites to show them looking in different directions. Also, as mentioned, you can see the status bar at the bottom between levels. Yeah, and this is why in my review, well, in my retrospective, I was very careful to not dump on this completely, because you have to remember this was ambitious, even though like it's very stripped down, even though it's not really the full fat Doom experience. It does a great job, I think. For people at the time, this would have been more than serviceable. This would have been great. Hey Sashman, welcome, welcome. Wait, there was a secret armor bonus I did not know about earlier. Also, the strafe and the use buttons are the same button in this version. It's a bit weird. It takes a bit of getting used to, because you can still strafe in this version, so you can still strafe side to side, but you've got to kind of hold the button to do it, and it's the same button as use. Yeah, so I'm hoping that I can get my hands on that Super Nintendo revision that they're doing in some form, because I would love to do like a full-on video of it. But unfortunately, from what I've heard, they've already sold out of like the initial batch, so getting my hands on that's going to be a bit difficult. I did not, unfortunately. This year finances have been a bit tight because of all the stuff going on with my partner, and the fact that they were in ICU for like 4 months. So like I've had to put all my finances that I would have spent on like nice things like that to the side a little bit this year. There's a new version of SNES Doom. Yeah, so Limited Run Games are doing an updated version of Super Nintendo Doom. It's going to include all the missing levels, and it's also going to include all the features that were missing from the original Super Nintendo version. It's really cool. Harry, you're a wizard. Hopefully another year rolls out, we'll finally get textured ceiling and floors. I hope so. Yeah, that version, yeah. So whether you like limited run games or not, like, you know, it's cool they're doing that, even if like it's taken them a while to get to that point where it's releasing. Also, you'll notice this is the first version where the health and armor bonuses they weigh in at 2% each. Nice. It's fun to poke at Doom Vertex, but they did a good job. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, you have to understand, this was developed in like 2 months by Carmack while he was camping out at Sega of America's HQ. He did a great job with this. Like, considering like that the 32X is not that powerful. So yeah, so I should point out this is on emulator, so I do need to kind of point that out. Like, but this is a close approximation. It's a close enough, I think. I specifically chose this emulator because it's closer to performance-wise to what the actual hardware would have delivered. But the thing with 32X is that emulation for it's actually very hit and miss. The 32X's performance wasn't that bad. It was about it regularly hits 15 frames a second, so it wasn't as smooth as the Jaguar version though. So the Jaguar version was the better version at the time. Ah, nice. See, I didn't know that. A lot of the people that I was speaking to advised me to use oh, what's its name? I'll have to look. I'll look when the level's over. How you doing, Squirrel? How you doing? Yeah, unfortunately, that's the name of the game, though, isn't it? What's worse, no music or bad music? Definitely no music for me. Yeah, I think, like I said, I think they did a good job with this. Like, in 1994, like... So look at the way the Pinky's running, by the way. And there's no infighting, so like he's just going to chase me even though he's getting hit from behind by these imps. Cake Fusion is absolute shit and really I to never use it, please. Jag cut corners, but he did better. I mean, to be fair, the Jag version was the priority when they were making all this, wasn't it? All the overstepping enemies. Hey Napsum, how you doing? How you doing? Welcome, welcome. So as I mentioned, remember in the main menu there were only 15 levels. Well, here's where we get to see one of the unlisted levels. So this is level 17. And like you can see here, it's actually really odd because the sky is it's actually the knee deep in the dead sky, the shores of hell, the inferno sky. Yeah, I got it there in the end. I got there in the end. Yeah, so this is military base, but it has the inferno sky, which is. Did that imp just jib randomly? No, I think the barrel behind it blew up. Well, interestingly, I'm putting together the in retrospect for PS1 Doom. So if you've got any opinions on it, I'd love to hear them. The military base has been inexplicably teleported into hell. This is my first Doom. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. Like I said, this was a great achievement for the time. I think that coming back to, I think the problem I have is a lot of modern reviews of this. They kind of go, well, you know, it's rubbish by today's standards. Oh! I can show you something really, really cool here. Right. I'm going to show you something really cool. So, I want you to keep an eye on the rocket that's firing. I want you to keep an eye on it. If you can see it, can I make the screen bigger? Just a second. I really want you to see this as it's happening because when I spotted this when I was playing, it actually gagged me a bit. So I'm gonna do this just for a second. So watch the rocket when I shoot it. It shoots backwards. So it's actually, instead of shooting like with the flame pointing towards us and going away from us, it actually shoots backwards. So the point of the rocket is actually pointing back at us. So the rockets in this version are actually facing the wrong way. Like I said, that got me when they face you, yeah. No, and when I was like doing the quirks video for that, I was like, whoa, that's crazy. It's just interesting though because there's no other time in this version when anyone will shoot a rocket at you because the cyber demon isn't in this version. So if they really wanted to, they could have done that. To be honest, they could have turned the sprite back around, but they didn't. It makes me think it was an oversight, to be honest. I'm guessing because I'm guessing that like they were in such a crunch over this, they didn't really think about that kind of thing. It's like how Bowser's flame in the original Super Mario Bros. Is always mirrored. What do you have to do to save space? Exactly. Candence gets it. Candence understands. Yeah, it was all about it making this as efficient as possible. And remember, they did cut out a whole episode, so this has the lowest level count of any of the like official console ports of Doom. Hey Link Mario Samus, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. It is important to keep in mind though, and I will keep saying this in the stream. This was a technical achievement when it came out. Whether it doesn't look like it now, but it was back then, I promise you. Man, the instrumental for this song is worse than Sonic Chronicles. Also, yeah. So people back in the day had like terrible sound cards as well. So it wasn't like PC gamers were getting like the best like experience all the time. But yeah, you can see if you watch the rockets shooting away from me, like they're pointing at me. So technically, these pinkies are getting smacked in the face. But yeah, Look at that pinky just dancing towards me. True, yeah, true, YS Bunny. I'm talking about the console ports, but you are technically correct if you include the shareware version, which has 9 levels. Excuse me. Would you stream the 8-bit Poom at some point? Yeah, no, I'm happy to do that. The thing is, I want to use these streams to have fun, like with the Nightmare streams, but I also want to make sure that I'm covering stuff that, like, expanding on stuff on the channel that I do. So that if you want me to do Poom, I've still got that installed. See if we can still make this jump. We can. We are not going down into that pit down beneath. We are not doing that. Yeah, it's all just to do with limitations and technical shortcomings. Well, I think the reason for that is because the source code only fully reappeared in the 2020s. I think because the source code originally, it was partially put up in 2020. I think it was it 2020, 2021, by the guy that made it, and then someone found the full source code last year on some floppy disks. So look, I was gonna say, I was hoping that enemy wouldn't wake up there because I wanted to show off the pixel, like the enemies just looking in one direction. So in my research, it was 2020 or 2021, I think, was when it was partially released. I mean, if you can correct me on that, feel free, because that'll be actually good to know. But I know that the full floppy disk of it was, because it was like a box of floppy disks, was only discovered last year because there was a lot of news articles about it. I mean, we can try. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Fire guy, you asked me to test it, and we did it on the second enemy. Yeah, the chainsaw actually jibbed that enemy. That was right, beautiful. Yeah, no, that's really cool. I didn't even know you could do that. I like how that one imp was not affected. What was your first experience of Doom games on what platform? Mine was the shareware version on DOS in '95. So I can tell you how old my experience was, because you know, on E1 M3, you know that pit with the switch in with the med kit. I always remember as a kid, the switch was on the other side of the pool, so it wasn't down in the bottom. And I remember when we got the full version, that changed, and I had to get used to that. So that's like how old my Doom experience is. Have you played Tomb Raider 32 exports? I have not, but I want to. I'm looking at doing a lot more Tomb Raider videos, but the thing is, I don't know, because I talked about this on the channel the other day. I'm going to be launching like a dedicated like retro games channel, and the idea for that is it's going to be focused more on non-shooter content, so like your Nintendo games, old classic PlayStation games, stuff that doesn't fit on like that Nukem Guy, because I feel like that Nukem Guy is more of a first-person shooter channel at the minute, and whenever I put up non-first-person shooter stuff, people get a bit weird about it. So I think it's just better if I kind of separate that content out to its own place, so that people, so like it doesn't all kind of get mushed together. So at the minute I'm actually working on some of the videos for that channel. Oh, I do, Fire Guy. I'm gonna play Duke Nukem 1 and 2. I want to play those because obviously they're very important to the franchise, but also because It's just, they're really fun games. I don't mind playing them, to be honest. Oh, hello. Yeah, the Nokia N-Gage version of Tomb Raider. Although that had the Angel of Darkness Lara Croft in it. Like, they gave her an Angel of Darkness skin. I remember that. That was a good time. Ow. My first experience was in 1995 too. I first played show version. It was 1.2, I think. Ah, nice. Like I said, I remember like the different. I remember that original Switch placement. So I always, and in the years since I've been playing Doom, I found out that that was like an earlier version of Doom. They ported Tomb Raider to Game Boy Advance as well. So someone's working on like a fan port of Tomb Raider to the Game Boy Advance. Don't know if it's still in development, but again, something I'd be very interested in trying out because I do have a GameCube right next to me that's got a Game Boy player on it. So I'd love to give that a proper try. So I've never seen the Angel of Darkness one, but I remember they released the original Tomb Raider onto N-Gage, and I remember I always wanted it because I was a big fan of Tomb Raider back in the day, and like, the idea of playing Tomb Raider 1 on like a phone was just crazy to me. My first Doom was Super Nintendo. Excellent. The first console port I ever played was the PlayStation 1 version. My cousin actually gave us that because he hated Doom. He didn't like Doom and he thought it was very like weird. So he gave it to us. I think we traded, was it Tekken 2? We traded one of the Tekken games away for that one, and I don't regret that to this day. I really wanted an N-Gage. The N-Gage was something I really wanted, but it was always so expensive, and back then, like, I didn't really want to spend money on a phone for that. Now I would. Now I definitely would. Hey Emma, welcome. How you doing? Real hardware emulation. Yeah, so this is an emulation. Like I said in the description, unfortunately my current budget doesn't allow me to invest in like a 32X and I think we have a Mega Drive downstairs. I think I have one in storage, but I don't have a 32X add-on for it. So it's one of those where unfortunately I am not able to give a real hardware playthrough. Unfortunately. Gotta be really careful here. It's just weird seeing all the enemies come up to the window here, just like staring at me constantly. I'm curious what emulator you're using. Thanks, Pure Baldness and Nukem. Phone gaming was very different. Just give me a second. I'll have a quick look. Just a second. I am using ARES, whatever that is. Someone told me that was more accurate for 32X emulation than any of the others. Yeah, I like I said, Super Shotgun. It's the channel's all set up and everything. It's mainly just because like there are videos I want to make on the channel, but I know they won't do well because there's a lot of first-person shooter people who follow me, and that's fine. Like I get that because they followed for Doom and Blood and Heretic and all those games, and I love talking about those games, but at the same time I also want to talk about like I have a lot of video ideas for other games as well, and it's just going to be nice to be able to kind of like do both. Ares is very accurate. Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying, Squirrel. Like I was informed this was one of the better options. It's better than RetroArch. Like RetroArch, I didn't want to use RetroArch because I think it was you that told me that like that's not a good option at all, and I agree with that. So I took your advice on board from that, from our discussions on that. Hey Major Kenny, welcome. I'm good, thank you. Game capture in OBS to work. With those, I had to give up on that endeavour. Yeah, so I'm just screen capturing my desktop here. Like I said, I wish I could do real hardware. Like, if one day when I can, I will do that, and we'll have a good time with the real hardware versions of these. And the thing is, I can do PlayStation, I can do Game Boy Advance on real hardware because I've got the everything set up for that. So I'm slowly getting there. It's just going to take me a while. Is this channel set up? I think separating non-FPS makes sense. Yeah. So the channel's set up, but the thing is, I don't want to announce it until I've got stuff to put on there. So, because the thing is, I'm one of these people who I feel like you shouldn't talk about stuff until you've got something to show for it. And for me, it's like I would rather announce that channel when I've got like videos to put up and go, hey, look, this is what I'm doing over here, rather than going, this is what I'm going to be doing like 3 months from now. Also, you also have a Mr. F. I grew up with MK, GTA. Wasn't until Dr. John Sleep urged me to play it in 20... Oh, nice. Took years, but I found a great game community. Now I make mods. Excellent. Oh, that's really cool. And also, Dr. Sleep contributed greatly to the community, so I'm really glad that you got to have that, you know, those experiences with them. Yeah, it's because I have the wrestling one up because I run that wrestling I run a wrestling social media anyway, so I have that up mainly just because it's there. But with the retro gaming stuff, it's like I only want to do stuff. I only want to promote that when there's something to talk about with it. Excuse me. Yeah, exactly. I understand, Mr. Major Kennedy. How pixel accurate the emulator is, and yeah, I get what you're saying there. You want it to look accurate, and that's fine. But yeah, thank you so much, Emma, for the super chat. That's really appreciated. I could see the appeal in retro art, but it's definitely the best. So retro art is a good all-arounder. When I used to stream Pokemon randomizers and such, it was great because you could set it up to be super modifiable. But obviously, like in terms of like the actual overall experience, you know, it's not the most accurate way of experiencing those games. Please, I don't want to die here. Please, I don't want to die here. I like when it's backing away from me, it still stares at me. It's so weird. It's so weird. Right. Retro art's good enough for most consoles until the 16-bit, and some people prefer MGA or dedicated emulators. Yeah, I get that. I noticed that you shoot at doors a lot. Is it because you're... No, so the reason I'm shooting at doors is because I keep forgetting which button I've set the open door thing to. It's that simple. It's really that simple. I have MGA on my PS Vita. It's very accurate. Yeah, indeed. Retro art should not be used unless you actually have to use it. I really want to get a Vita. The Vita was such a great console. That was a console ahead of its time, and Sony didn't know what to do with that. Yeah, I mean, RetroArch is fine if like if you just want to play something quickly, dirty and quickly. But if you want accuracy, you've got to go elsewhere because it's not really set up for that, is it? This song starts off intense and now it's rather subdued. Yeah, exactly. Like it really kicks off and then it's like, eh. It really does sound like farts, this one. My biggest issue with updating Windows are those horrible rounded windows. Yeah. Luckily, I've got the extended support for Windows 10, so I did. That's very dramatic. Wow, the music's very dramatic. Ooh. See, when I push the wrong button, it can be very problematic. Also, you got GTF and PS2s. They're actually updated Android ports. Nice. Yeah, like I said, I don't mind using RetroArch if I have to, but like if people tell me this is better, I will try the better thing because I'm always open to being shown better ways to do things. I don't have a DSi, although I have a DS Lite. It's a customized DS Lite that I bought a few years back. Oh wait, I want that. I want that. Yeah, so I couldn't ever find a reason why they didn't use the 32X sound chip for this version. I'm sure someone can tell me, but when I was looking through the research for like that video, all I could find was that they were in a rush with this version, so a lot of things kind of got left overlooked. You also have to remember that this is running on a Genesis with the 32X add-on, whereas the Super Nintendo version, that was running on native console with the chip on board the motherboard. So for a lot of people, this wasn't an accessible option because you had to shell out like for this add-on. You couldn't just put this into your Genesis and play away. Ah, okay, fair enough. I didn't know that, crusty dingus. Just look at that. That's so stupid. It's the pinkies in this version that always get me. Also, you'll notice there's no spectres in this version, so this is probably the best place to show that off because there's usually a bunch of spectres here. All the spectres have been changed to normal pinkies in this version. Why does music have to be quiet most of the time then? It's just dramatic. It's just because it was poorly converted over. That's all it is, I think. That music. But I'm just enjoying the music. Oh, that's rough. That's very rough. I just think it's because, like I said, Carmack was rushing this one out the door, like because Sega mandated it had to be ready for the launch of the 32X, and that's why a lot of the things, if there's a thing in this version that makes you go, "Why? I wonder why they did that." It's probably because Carmack needed to save time. Carmack was scrambling to get this port ready in time. So do you know what? When I first heard this, like a while back, I thought this reminded me of, like, I can't think of the name of the game. It reminded me of a Genesis game. This song sounds like it's banging on the door of its hands. Which emulator are you using? So I mentioned it earlier. I'll check again in a second. Thank you, Squirrel. Thank you. Because to be fair, like I said, I asked around which was the best one to use for 32X, and people told me this one. So, because I know it's not the same as real hardware, but like I didn't want to just pick like RetroArch and just say we're done. Oh, okay. Something's going wrong here. Very wrong. Oh god, I'm gonna die. Okay, I died. Well, that's gonna make the rest of this level fun, isn't it? Hey, Mr. E. Machine. How you doing? How you doing? I just need to be a bit more careful, I think. I mean, that last time I think I tried rushing through the level and I ended up suffering because of that. Also, Nukem, props for trying to stay as accurate as possible. Yeah, no, like I said, I didn't want to kind of just put something up and go, you know, this is what it looks like. Because, to be fair, RetroArch, like I said, I don't mind using it like quick and easy. But like, if I'm doing a showcase like this, I've got to try and get it as close as I can. I can't just like slap up the first thing I find. What's interesting as well is this version doesn't have any of the like Jaguar level set exclusive levels in it. I've always found that particularly odd as well, because this version basically just does episode 1, episode 2, and then it's like, that's it. I know how much 32Xs go for these days. I don't know, but the thing is, I'd want to get a US one, because if I was going to do it, I would buy an EverDrive for the 32X for the Genesis, and I get a US Genesis console, because that way then I can play the US versions, which have better refresh rates, because it's not tied to the 50 hertz that we have over here. You don't need a US one. Oh, do I not? Okay. See, I don't know. See, that's how little I've looked into it. That'd be fun to... Are you enjoying the soundtrack there, Darth? Last one is about as user-friendly as tangled up earphones. This version loves its brown palette. Yeah, so that's the only problem I have with some of these Jaguar ones, is that they're really brown and grey. But then Doom 2 is brown and grey as well, so, you know. It's about $200 US here. Oof. Still 50 Hz gameplay is messing with my brain. It shouldn't be, because I'm playing this on an emulator. I'm using the US version, so this is the US ROM. Or US in Japan, technically. It was listed as US in Japan. Excuse me. I could see death coming there. Japan also has 60 Hz mains. Did you watch the video on Buggy Stairs Builders? I haven't seen that. No, I'll have a look into it. Grab the chain gun from here. Go, go, go. You get some subtle differences. I can see that. Maybe just the 32X version then. Just time feels a bit slow. I think it's just the 32X, to be honest. I think it's just the game. But like I said, whenever I use ROMs, I don't play EU ones for that exact reason. Very starting taxes. Yeah, it's a very grey and brown version of Doom, this one, isn't it? Battletoads is considered one of the highest games in the US. Turns out it was designed 50 Hz, so in the US it's sped up. I didn't know that. It's not separate ROMs, it has the same ROM. Nice. Because I remember once someone got really annoyed. I was using because I remember once I was playing on my N64, because back in 2020 I only had a UK N64, and I was playing Doom 64 on Twitch, and someone got really annoyed at me because they were like, "Oh, this isn't the US version. You shouldn't be playing on Twitch." And I was like, "Calm down. It's still Doom 64. Just, you know." Plus, the US version of Doom 64 is a bit more difficult because it actually has like more pronounced shadows. The Mega Drive port of Battletoads corrects the speed for 60 Hz. They play in their respective region. Nice. See, I'm learning stuff today. That's good. Oh, see, that's cool. Actually, I didn't even know that. But then again, like when I was a kid, I used to just play whatever it was, like because when you're in the UK, you get used to 50 Hz. It's so we're about halfway through this at the minute. If you stab my shoes, you get the unsettled red blood. Ah, cool. Okay, so there's no pinkies in this version. On this level, difficulty level. Okay. We'll just take out these guys. So the aim here is just to stay as far away from them as possible. And I'll run right up so you can see them. I didn't like how that was playing out. They were going to pin me against that back wall there. Yeah, if there's anything people want to see specifically from this version, let me know. Like I said, I'm here for a few hours, so we can have some fun with this version. You'll notice in this Jaguar levels, the back walls don't actually come down, it's just the front walls here. I remember the days of 50 hertz. I remember because we didn't have a TV that was compatible, so it used to come through really bad if you tried to play it on 60 hertz. Yeah, you can see there's actually some doors out here. These aren't in the PC original, and what they do, they take you back to this area here. The projectiles can't hit you. In the PC version, you can trap the barons. Ah, I didn't know that, Brandon. How you doing? How you doing? And hey, Abab. First time I played was on the SNES. The SNES version, I can imagine a lot of people played the SNES version first, because the SNES version was probably the easiest to get people's hands on. Because it didn't require an add-on. It didn't require any modifications to the console. It just required you to pay a bit more for the cartridge. Well, this isn't the right music, is it? More laggy than GZ Doom, probably. But yeah, I don't think you can be too critical of this version. Was the first for me. Didn't have a PC as a kid. The sound font reminds me of Wolfenstein for sound fonts. Yeah, so it reminds me of a lot of other Genesis games. I think it reminds me of like Lion King and Aladdin for some reason. But yeah, just for those who are wondering, this version of Doom doesn't use the 32X sound chip. It actually uses the base Genesis sound chip. And also, this music is in the wrong place, as you're probably aware. You probably don't need me to tell you that. What's my favourite console Doom? Definitely PlayStation 1 Doom. I think PlayStation 1 Doom is just so good. Look at the way the Cacodeme was just like rolling along the floor there. That's so stupid. Is this the port where the developer wasn't given nearly enough time? No, Doomscribe. So this is actually the first official console port released. This was released on the 21st of November 1994. It was released the same day as the 32X add-on for the Genesis. The Jaguar port released a week after this. No, I wanted to go in there, damn it. So yeah, this one's noteworthy because it was released... Oh wait, did I not pick up the red key? I need to go and pick up the red key. This one's noteworthy because John Carmack worked on it for like a month at Sega's HQ, and he basically copy and pasted over a lot of the work he was doing on Jaguar at Doom. Which he was allowed to do because it was his work. But obviously, this version has the lowest level count. I think it has arguably the worst music. Although that's all subjective. Yeah, you're thinking of the 3DO version. That was made by Rebecca Hindman. I got her name right there. She was given like 10 weeks to make that port on her own. She really struggled to get that like into any workable form. That was Burger Becky. Yeah, exactly. Oh, I thought there was going to be a Caco Demon there. That's why I started shooting. Yeah, so the 3DO one it's fixed to a much smaller screen size. But Rebecca did put in the code to make it full screen. What's this music doing here? Okay. I apologize, by the way, for the I can only apologize for the music because this is not the music you were probably expecting. Yeah, PS1 Doom is, I believe she's sadly currently going through chemo. Yeah, someone mentioned that. That's very sad to hear that she's going through that. And I hope she can pull through. Yeah, PS1 Doom is so unique, not just frame rate. He was probably using the terrible GM sound tools on the 32X version. Yeah, and I think as well, like, because Carmack wasn't really a creative, so I don't think he was that fussed about, like, sounds and all that. He just wanted them working. He didn't care if they sounded terrible. 32X definitely takes the crown for worst Doom OST, unless you count Jaguar for Doom. Well, the thing is, the Jaguar version does have music, but they're only played in the like between bits of the levels. And what's really crazy, when I was researching that version, it turns out that the guy that, because there was another developer that was working alongside Carmack when that was being made, he actually implemented the full thing, but then Carmack took it out without telling him. And so, like, the first he knew about the fact there wasn't any music was after the game had come out. So obviously Carmack decided that it was too much of a hindrance on the sounds does add to the creep factor in Jag Doom, but I like the music. Yeah, I like the music as well. I do like the music. Yeah, all these different console ports, they have so many quirky little stories. Like, for example, I found out, because, like I said, I'm in the middle of editing together the PlayStation 1 in retrospective. I found out, for example, that the only reason we got a PlayStation 1 Doom off Williams was because they really wanted to do an Ultra 64 version, which was N64 at the time, and they were kind of like unsure about like what the specs of that were going to be, so they used PlayStation Doom as a test bed. Oh yeah, no, it's fine, Shane. No way. Yes, yeah, sounds loses effect, not contra. Streets of Rage 2 is difficult. I gotta go to work. Yeah, that's not fine, Sheik. Have a great one, and thank you so much for hanging out. It's been really fun. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you like. Hey, Follies. I'm gonna say Follies because if I said the rest, I'm gonna mispronounce. I mean, I probably did just mispronounce. I apologize if I did. But yeah, all the console ports have such interesting stories. It's great. Like, the one I'm really looking forward to talking about is Doom 2 on the Game Boy Advance. I have reached out to people who worked on it. I'm hoping to hear back from them so I can get some insight off them into like what that was like to make. I don't think I'm going to get that insight though. I don't like this level. This level's big. I get that. I prefer the PC version of this level. I think this version takes a bit too much out. Sounds about right. Good one. But I love Doom 64, and I only played a little bit of Sonic CD. So I'm looking forward to Doom 64 as well. So what I'm going to do for that, I'm going to play that on real hardware because I've got a US N64 downstairs. So I'm going to play that on real hardware footage and get footage for that when the time comes. Probably sometime this month if things go to plan. I want to know who made the Jaguar levels. So it's interesting because I don't think they've ever actually credited who actually made the modifications to the levels. I think all they've done is it was id Software's team. It wouldn't surprise me if it was Sandy Peterson, because Sandy did a lot of grunt work like that. Oh, thank you, Shane, for the $1.99. That's really lovely. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Thank you, Shane. Again, the music's wrong on this level. Hey, Real Doom Guy, how you doing? Hey, did I just hear Doom 64? Probably my favourite Doom game. Yeah, so I was saying, I'm really looking forward to when I can cover that in retrospect. Doom 64 is one of my favourites as well. That and PS1 Doom are really close to each other, so I'm really excited to get to those and talk about them. And then talk about the cancelled sequel for Doom 64, which was in development and then it got cancelled. Because I don't think too many people actually know about that. There was a sequel that was in very early development. It was supposed to be a more multiplayer focused experience, and from what I've read during my research on it, apparently like they didn't think it would do too well. You can do a lot of flack, but outside you do majority of levels. Yeah, so like I said, it gets referenced a few times when people talk about Doom 64, because one of the things with Doom 64, they originally thought about putting a multiplayer mode into that game, and then they decided people wouldn't like it, and then GoldenEye came out like a few months later, and everyone was like, why didn't you put a multiplayer mode in your Doom game? Yeah, the US. So that's the interesting one of the things I'm going to cover, because the US ROM of Doom 64, it's dark. So if you want to play like Doom 64 with like the correct like shadows, you know, that aren't like overbearing, you've got to play the Japanese version, which is pretty funny. Imagine if there's a Super Mario 65. Is that doorway slightly back? No, if it looks like it's a mistake, it's probably a mistake. I promise. The share about Doom 64 is the memory of the console held it back. It would have been great to see enemies. Yeah, I agree. Yes, you are very correct. Unfortunately, the US players got like a very weird version of Doom 64 with the lighting. And like I said, when I cover Doom 64, I'm going to be talking about all that, because it's such a fascinating thing about the Doom 64 experience. For me, Ultimate Doom is the best of the saga. Hey, nothing wrong with that. For me, I think Ultimate Doom has the best consistency in levels. So I think that like the Shores of Hell's good. I think that Need Even the Dead, amazing, mostly. Inferno, it's got its moments. Die Flesh Consumed, I'm like that on, but you know, whatever. Like it's fine. Yeah, I love how dedicated retro gamers are. Like they're basically like, well, if Nintendo's not going to give us what we want, then we'll make it ourselves. And then Nintendo tries to sue them for getting what they want. I want Blood Refresh supply for 64. Do you know what? I reckon you could get Blood onto N64. I think that's very possible. Because my favourite version of Duke Nukem 3D, and whisper this softly, it's the N64 version. I think the N64 version, if it wasn't for the lack of music in the N64 version, I think that's the definitive way to play. And obviously the garbage controls, but if you play Red Nukem, it just shows what that version could have been. The Ocarina decomp is fun. Yep, I've heard that. I've also heard that there's a Majora's Mask one now as well, isn't there? So the plan with Duke Nukem is, let me play this room. Made the OST louder, Nukem guy. So unfortunately I can't. So this is one of those situations where unfortunately they have made it so that you can only turn the music on and off. If I could, I would definitely turn the music up for you. But yeah, it's really good that you didn't accidentally shoot. I know, I did well there. Thank you, Bitter. But you'll notice here, like I showed off earlier on, the enemies in this version and the items, they don't actually like dim with the rooms that they're in. So enemies kind of stand out like a sore thumb. This reminds me of that room in the Crusher. Sign of Evil 32X is so good. Yeah, and like I said, when I do eventually get to the resurrection of the 32X Resurrection Project and Fusion projects, I'm really looking forward to showing those off. Am I tripping or did I get... This is behaving like it should on the console, so this is how it would look on the console. Well, what's crazy is that, like I said, so this is an emulator, so this is not one-to-one with the original, but like you can definitely see the performance issues like creeping in. Yes, Squirrel is correct. The weapons do have higher frame rates. What's crazy as well is we're actually near the end of this version. I know that sounds like really weird to say, but this only has, like I said, this only has 15 levels in it, plus the 2 secret levels. Excuse me. Yeah, so the thing is, Fire Guy, one of the big compromises this version had to make to get out in time for the 32X launch, Romero had to take out the entirety of the Inferno section. So we are basically closing in on the end of this version, even though we're only just beginning on it. I just want you all to admire the Kako Demon, just like how it skirts around. That's like nightmare fuel, that. If only Inferno was in the 32X version. So it's in the Resurrection version. And like I said, if you want to play the 32X version, I would recommend going looking for the 32X Resurrected project. It's great. They've added in better levels. They've added in, you know, all the stuff that this version's missing. This level is my favorite. Nice. Well, the thing is, Brandon... Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you, Shane. That's really lovely of you. Thank you. Again, with the super chat. Thank you. That's really lovely. Yeah, so I am going to cover the 32X on the channel anyway. But, like, what I was thinking is I might do a video on it this week, to be honest. But like I said, my main priority at this moment is getting out that PlayStation 1 in retrospect. Is it me as well, or is there no lost souls, or am I just... Are they not on this difficulty? Guys, you can play Doom 3 on mobile. You can. Does anyone remember that weird iOS version of Doom 3 that they put out? That was so weird. Oh, okay. Did not mean to do that. No crushes there either. As a kid, I always thought Plasma Rifle looked like a vacuum. Yeah, it kind of does. I can kind of get what you're talking about there. Right. Our weird backwards facing rockets here. time Apple's experimenting with mobile gaming. Yeah, and then they got bored of it again. They do that. So if you've never played the Jaguar levels, this is one of the big changes that they make here. So they get rid of the crusher in this section. I need more health. What I'm going to do, I'm going to run back through the level to this point. The Sega Saturn version is similar to the PS1, but the frame rate is so bad it's unplayable. And you can blame John Carmack for that. That was John Carmack's call to have it be as close to the PS1 version and not specialised for the Saturn's very specialised hardware setup. Did you getting a 32X? Why not get the Sega CD and review Corpse Killer? I should play. Oh, I only got to play the original. So Doom RPG is actually something that's on my list of videos to make. Because I think the first one has a PC port that someone made, and I'm going to play that at some point. It is... I'm fully aware of that. Yes, YS, yes. Because when I was looking into covering them, I found that was probably going to be the best way to do them. Monsters don't respawn on 32X version. They do not. I'm not ready for fast respawn. I should go and add. It's basically UV fast. I just find the music choices in this weird. Like they obviously they were just hacking out music tracks to kind of fit it into the. Take these out. You know, you can die if you want. Wow, that Pinky did not want to die there, did it? Okay, this is... Just do that. Deal with them. So the reason I've come in here is because I know there's a supercharge. What is the worst version of Doom in your opinion? The worst to play is probably the Super Nintendo version. And not because the frame rate's bad, although the frame rate is not great. And it's not because of the graphics, it's because it has, like, in my opinion, the worst input latency. Like, you can push right on the SNES version, and it'll take, like half a second for it to realise what you want to do. Whereas with this one, at least, like, you can still move. So in my opinion, the Super Nintendo one is probably the least playable, which is a shame. You can destroy walls in the GBA port. I would say it's how hard does the floor do, rather than at your speed. Makes them inconsistent. Yeah. By the way, this is a good showcase for what I was talking about earlier. Notice how the Cacodemon and the Pinky are both staring at me, but they've not been walking up. Why is that? It's because the way that the 32X monsters behave, they're still looking away from me, but the game doesn't show that. It only shows the front-facing sprites. So you get moments like this, where like the enemies are still looking at you, but they're not actually like looking away. But it doesn't look like they are. That's some serious brain lag. Blind Cackle, what? They don't even know to move. They didn't even move. Don't even move to the side. Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. When you turn left or right. Yeah, look, that's what I'm saying. Look. Friendly Cacodemon, isn't that right? And what's funny is, like, when I move in a second, look, it's still, as long as we don't cross over in front of it. See, look, now it sees us. Yeah, so that's one of the things with this version of Doom. You can play around with enemies like that when, like, they're not looking at you. They can't stop looking at you. You're just standing there menacingly. Yeah, that's like that's one of the things I found really fun when I was doing that video. The best examples on E1 and M1, because the shotgun is in that level behind where the pillars are normally. They're looking away from you, but when you turn the corner, they just keep looking at you like, what are you doing here? Why are you here? It's like all those optical illusions. Yeah, pretty much. Oh, hello. They're like, that shot gonna look at the difference in our pinky. Bye. It's just funny because it makes this and the Super Nintendo version really different. If they feel very different. Have you heard of the PS1 Doom ROM hack? That's levels from Sigil. I have not heard of that, but I would be very interested to try that. This looks more brown than Unreal Evil. Yeah, so the texture variety had to take a dive in this version. You'll also notice there's no steps over here. Okay, I didn't want to do that. I was wondering where the Lost Souls were in this episode. Because I haven't seen one yet, and I was like, I thought there were Lost Souls in this version. I've blown myself up with the rocket launcher too many times. 32X Flat Earth, Mars version. You can headcanon it as the demons challenging you to first strike first. Doom 2 RPG also has a PC port for what it's worth. It requires the iOS version. Okay, I'll look into that. Like I said, the Doom RPG and Doom RPG 2, the two games that I've been looking at covering, I have a big list of videos that I want to make, so I just need to find the time to do that. Is it the PS1 version of this? I can't remember which version it is, but there's a version of this level where where this one doesn't actually come down. Like only one of these pillars comes down. It's because of like they reshaped the level slightly and it messed that up. Oh, thank you, Needy1, for the follow on Twitch. I appreciate that. I'm back playing Doom. That's good. It's okay to re-message you slowly, you know. I know. I think it might be the Game Boy Advance version, to be honest. I'm trying to remember which one it is. But I know there's one version where that second pillar doesn't come down, and I think it stops you getting 100% on ultraviolence because you can't kill the Baron up there. Oh, okay. That's a lot of zombie men. So the funny thing is, I think we're up to the penultimate level next. Wolfenstein RPG does not have a PC version, but the iOS version works in emulator. Okay, I'll keep that in mind. It's utterly incredible that Doom's legacy and incredible solid gameplay kept it alive and relevant, only gaining more and more popularity. So I think it's because Doom's just such a unique game. I think it just plays so well, and it's been looked after so well by the community that I think it's just aged really well. A lot of games from this period have not been looked after because they couldn't be looked after because, you know, the source code wasn't released. I think a lot of people have just kind of looked after Doom very well over the years. And we owe a lot to like the Boom development team. We owe a lot to the people that make levels because they really kind of kept this game alive. Definitely due to the modding community. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so I think the chain gun fires a lot faster. I think you're right on that one. Quake, the shotgun. I really missed out smooth runs on first strikes. So just to point out, because I don't want people to get this is on an emulator. I've chosen an emulator that's as accurate, one of the more accurate ones. So this is a good approximation of what it would have been like to play on 32X hardware. Unfortunately, I don't have like the resources to get that at the minute, but I do want to one day. My ultimate dream is to play 3DO Doom on an actual 3DO. That would be pretty rad. Unreal was made in the 90s, and yeah, it was killed off intentionally and we moved off of Steam. I hate the way that Unreal has been treated. I hate the way that that game has been just ruined by the greed of those who have control of it. Imagine if there was a Sigil 2 mod. So what's interesting is there is a Jaguar mod that puts Doom 2 into the Jaguar version. Quake 1 is the best Quake. That would be brutal. Jazz has been treated worse. Yeah, Jazz Jackrabbit. Although I am using the music for that in my videos a lot, and people seem to love it, so I'm trying to keep that legacy alive, because Jazz has some great music, great gameplay as well. I should do a video for that on the channel. That's definitely a series I'd love to kind of give more love to. Unreal is off for free now, though, correct? Just sadly not on Steam. Yeah, but the thing is, like, Unreal, a lot of Unreal fans are just not happy with the way the franchise has been treated, and I always think I'm gonna die when that happens. It's like the scream when you get jibbed by a rocket. Quake is a very important game. So the thing with Quake is a lot of my memories with it are attached to the N64 version. So I really want to go back and play that at some point. Yeah, I'm surprised as well. I'm surprised in Doom 2 they didn't introduce like a baby cyber demon or something like that, because in Legacy of Rust they introduced obviously the weaker cyber demon. I can't remember what it's called there, but they introduced one, and I always thought that was an enemy that was missing from the game. Oh, it's still here. Nice. Quake is easy if you know the secrets. Quake's a great game. Like, Quake doesn't get as much love as Doom, and I think that's just down to the fact that Doom was just more iconic to more people in their childhoods. Quake, my beloved. Instead we got... Yeah, Quake, in my opinion, easily as iconic as Doom. Well, the thing is, I've not played Legacy of Rust that much, so I don't mind Legacy of Rust. I get what it was, and for the people that it was made for, I bet they loved it, every bit of it. But I just didn't really, I didn't feel a need to go back and play it once I'd finished it, because it was like, yeah, you know, it's done. Quake made fast-paced shooters. Quake did so much for first-person shooters. We killed the tyrant in Legacy of Rust with my friends. All the new enemy. Doom Guy, do you think Unreal had it worse, or Duke Nukem? I think Unreal, because Unreal was always the technical. It was always used to like show off the Unreal Engine and such. Whereas Duke Nukem, it had loads of spin-offs. Duke Nukem got Duke Nukem Forever, and at least Duke Nukem got the 20th anniversary. As much as Duke Nukem fans hate the 20th anniversary edition of Duke Nukem, at least they got it. So, whereas Unreal, it's just kind of been left to rot. I feel sorry for Unreal fans, because you can tell that they all want something to happen with that series, and it's just never going to happen. I still have Duke Nukem Forever on Xbox 360 as well, and the reason I have that is because that's how I played it first. I was one of those people who got it day one. It got left throughout because of Fortnite, and it shows. Duke Nukem Forever did not finish. I like that. That fly around of the castle in Unreal was breathtaking. Really makes you appreciate how well Bethesda treats their legacy games. So, whether or not you like Bethesda, and to be fair, Bethesda does things I hate all the time, at least they have encouraged fans to keep the like Doom and now Heretic and Hexen alive, and they've looked after Quake. You know, they've not done anything for Wolfenstein yet. Poor Wolfenstein 3D, it's still waiting for that kind of a treatment. I feel bad for Wolfenstein fans as well, because they're kind of sat there going, when are we going to get our like remastered collection? I love Wolf 3D. Yeah, I would love to see Wolf 3D get like some kind of treatment, just because it's one of the most important games of all time, so it deserves it. But I see that every now and then in my comments, like when are we getting this like remaster collection for Wolfenstein 3D? And I'm like, oh, girl, take that up with the bosses. I'm just here showing off Wolfenstein. Wait till you hear about Crown of King. Don't. I've still not forgiven them for that mobile game. That stupid mobile game that they tried to put out with Wolfenstein, with Commander Keen slapped on it. I played Lexi once. That one nicest guy in the corner of E1 M6 can go suck it. We still got Hexen 2 to deal with. I think that's coming next year. I would not be surprised in the slightest if next year the big, like, because Bethesda does this thing now every year where they drop a game like as like a surprise, and I think next year it's definitely going to be Hexen. Hold up, you all saw that? There was no switch on that exit wall there. There was no switch. It was just a wall texture. Okay. That was very weird. I didn't. Honestly, Fire. If I'd seen that coming, I would have stopped to have a longer look at it, because that was really weird. The last level. Well, technically not, because technically when we've done with this one, we'll get sent to the final level. But if you cheat at any point in the 32X version, the game doesn't let you go to the final level. It's kind of funny. And as far as I know, this is the only version of Doom that stops you from accessing the final level if you cheat. See, it wouldn't surprise me if they're going to do something with the Hexen Heretic series. Wouldn't surprise me if they've got like some remaster, if they've got a new game lined up for that at some point, because it just kind of seems like that kind of franchise. Although again, Doom, the Dark Ages kind of stole a lot of the aesthetic from Hexen and Heretic, so. Okay, I might die here. Okay, I didn't die. Good. Wait, why is this music got spooky when we reach this level? On the SNES version, you can't play more than one episode. So, yeah, if you play, I think it's the American version, you have to play on the harder difficulties to play the Inferno episode and the Shores of Hell. Really weird. Again, some really weird choices were being made. I would have tried out Quake 4. I have the disc for that, because Quake 4 came bundled with, because Quake 4 was a launch game on Xbox 360, but it came bundled with a copy of Quake 2 that they never released onto the Xbox Live Marketplace. I like the yellow highlight when you pick up the invulnerability. Yeah, I mean, again, like nice little touches like that. The only problem with these levels is they're kind of a bit more blander. I downloaded Jedi Knight 2 on Switch and it is horrible. I don't know what they did to the aiming in this port. Sorry about that. There's actually nothing worse, in my opinion, than when a port gets like absolutely butchered. That was kind of par for the course back in the SNES days, at least for some games. Hard difficulties unlock more content. The version of Quake 2 was nice, but man, the control wasn't properly tuned for it. Yeah, and also you couldn't get. Also, you got achievements, but they were all worth 0, so it was kind of worthless trying to get them. Quake 4's Peter Stone Miner. Why did I tell you that? Same reason they put Stone in Quake 4, because I can. I didn't know that. That's actually really fun. Oh, nice. I want to talk about Quake 4. Quake 4 is really interesting. I don't really have any issues with Quake 4. Like, I always kind of viewed that as a more action version of Doom 3. Quake 2 is good, but I hate the chain gunner frogs keep shooting after dying. Sometimes I forget the song is playing, then the intro regrettably reminds me. Yeah, it's very mundane, this song, isn't it? And then it just like wakes up for 10 seconds. So I think they've taken the blue key out of this version of the level. I don't... So like I said, if you've cheated at any point in your 32x run, this is where your experience will end. It will not let you pass through the end of this level to... Go where? I don't mind Doom 3. I feel like people were a bit too harsh on that one. That's just my opinion. I think, like, if you don't consider it like a sequel to this Doom, it's fine. I think a lot of people, though, they kind of wanted more of this, and I get that, but I also think that I don't think they should have called it Doom. I think they should have called it something else. That probably would have saved it a lot of hassle over the years. You get put down with a rocket or some stratoblast. I kind of prefer Quake 4 because I'm more like in the action sense. I don't like in Doom 3 how it slows down sometimes just to be a bit scary, and it's like, you know, I wouldn't mind this picking up a bit. I don't want to fall into the toxic. Like, let's see if it's actually going to let me finish here. Are we going to go to the secret to the final level? Right, we are. Cool, so we've been granted access to the final level here. Well, that was unfortunate, wasn't it? Bounds versus Cacos. Yes, with awkward controls to go with it. Rip Nuki guy, I know. Where's the door? What we're going to do, we're going to come in here. We're going to let all... is there infighting? I don't think there is infighting in this version, is there? Okay, that's a problem. I like they put Berserk Pack in here as well. I like that because they obviously knew. They knew this was going to be a pain for people. Yeah, so I don't think there's infighting in this version. So, like, I'm gonna have to basically get them to hit each other while also avoiding taking damage myself, which is a bit awkward. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, so they can damage each other, but they can't actively, like, engage each other. So I have to try and get them to go single file like this. Yeah, I'm doing this because this is the easiest way to deal with these enemies. Is that it? We did it! Wolfenstein Manhunt, bottleneck. I always had to run from these guys. I think they can... Yeah, so they can still damage each other, but they can't actively target each other, which is obviously... It's not really helpful for me when there's not much room to move in. So yeah, I mean... I think we're going to be done here, aren't we? This part always made me laugh out. That one screen where he goes first person. Like, why have those keys there? I know, it's never made sense to me. I'm just gonna let you enjoy this rendition of this song. This sounds very unfortunate, by the way. It gets good. That always gets me. This one is off key. And then its software salutes you. The horrors of hell could not kill you. The most cunning traps were no match for you. You have proven yourself best of all. Congratulations. I think that's worth. Oh, we actually get a... oh, this is cool. I always stop before the end credit scroll. This is fun. We didn't really see any lost souls on Hurt Me Plenty, but, you know. I've never seen that message before. Neither have I. Normally I quit out, but you can see, like, that's pretty much it. So, yeah, wait, it looks the same as Doom 2 ending. Yeah, so they introduced obviously the monster crawl was a Doom 2 thing, but they brought it back to this version. I've never seen that message. So yeah, I've actually managed to complete it. So I'm actually happy about that. So what I'm going to do, we're going to go back around now. I'm going to play on Ultraviolence. Now, if there's anything you want to see, if there's any level you want to see, for example, any cheats you want me to try putting in, we can do that. So please feel free to kind of do that. I'm going to have to, unfortunately, restart this because it's not going to let me load out. That mod's set into PC version. Mon Doom. Lost Souls are much more annoying than classic Doom. Hello? There we go. But yeah, it took us just under 2 hours to complete that. So, and that was on the medium difficulty, so... But you can see here, even when you finish the game, it does not let you go to level 16 and 17. You must complete level 15, all of the levels to get to that final level. Does Doom 3 count as Modern Doom? No, Doom 3 is not Modern Doom. Modern Doom is 2016 Doom onwards, I'd say. Yeah, they're very high res, aren't they? Modern Doom Lost. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna no, I didn't want to do that. Didn't want to do that. And obviously there's no way back to... Is there a way back to the main menu? No, there isn't. Not in this version. Right, that's fine. I was just wondering, by the way. No, so I wouldn't count Doom 3 as Modern Doom. Doom 3 is its own thing, I'd say, in its own little sort of pocket universe. So let's see what Nightmare's like. I've never actually tried Nightmare on this. So you want to see an example of the enemies ignoring me. Take a look at that shotgunner there. Like, he can see me, his friends can see me, but he can't do anything until I shoot my guns. So yeah, if you play on Nightmare, look, you can see they do more damage. They do a lot more damage in Nightmare. Whoa. $64X, can you imagine? Such a beast. So yeah, on Nightmare, they do a lot more damage, the enemies. They do a lot more damage. I don't think they respawn. I don't think that's been implemented in this version. Dig that OST. 96X. Doom 3 feels like Half-Life and Doom 1 combined, whereas Doom RE feels like Doom 2 and Half-Life combined. So yeah, as you can see, 32X Nightmare, it's basically just the enemies hitting harder and faster. But they don't actually respawn, so it's kind of like Nightmare difficulty. I mean, it's here for the people who really want to test. See, look at the fast monsters here. Like, jeez. Yeah, so technically it's Ultraviolence Plus. It doesn't have the respawning enemies, which kind of makes sense because obviously limited hardware and all that, but at least there's some form of higher difficulty, so if people really want to test themselves, they've got this to play with. Are the projectiles faster? They are indeed faster. They seem to move faster. I would say they appear to move faster, and there's more of them. Hey Captain Nintendo, yeah, so we just finished the 32X run. We got to the final level as well, so that was good. Fast Pinkies. Hey Osh! Yeah, so what I'll do, I'll play through this for a bit. Just to see if we can find if the Pinkies are fast. We'll only find that out on the 3rd level though, so I've got to work all the way to that point. Play Chex Quest. I can play a Chex Quest. I like Chex Quest. Fast Pinkies are terrifying. Alt F4 to fast forward. I wish. I don't even know what the fast forward is in this emulator I'm using. I've never played Chex Quest before, actually. Chex Quest is fine. Like, I think if you just go into it for a laugh, I think you'll have a good time. I played Chex Quest on the Game Boy Advance for a video, so that's kind of my claim to fame on that. Quick trivia bit. Played the whole trilogy there. Nice, excellent. Imagine being a kid in the 90s and getting Chex Quest in your cereal. Ah, nice. So I don't really keep up with Doom 3 mods, There's a mod that I really want to play, but I can't get it to work at the minute. For Doom, if I can get it to work, I'll do a video on it. It's a Doctor Who WOD that released not in the not too distant past. Oh yeah, you can see here. Look, faster projectiles are in force. Oh, please don't die. Super 3D knows Art that's on sale Steam, which is supported in Steam Deck, was updated by the team makes the open source Wolfenstein 3D, but not going to name the open source. Oh, okay, I didn't know that. Sorry. Because I made a video on that a long time ago. I know David tends to Scrooge McDuck. So let's see if the pinkies are fast here. I would not say the pinkies are faster. So for scientific purposes, I think we can say the pinkies are not faster. Have you ever played the classic side-scroller Duke Nukem games? I have. I played Duke Nukem 1 many years ago. I think because my dad used to download games off floppy disks and put them on the PC. I think I've played the first one through. I've never played the second one. Is he moonwalking? He is moonwalking indeed. David making me find Scrooge hot was not in my 2017 bingo. To be fair, Tennant's great. I like that you can. I like this as a map as well. That's not a given in some of these Doom ports. So what I'm going to do in a second, I'm going to show you what happens if you try to finish the game without. I'm going to show you what happens if you finish the game without doing the other levels first. Wait, I did that wrong. I didn't know it loaded up. Do you know it was released on the arcade, right? I think it was like 2-3 years ago, because I have a friend who's super into the arcade, and they beg me to play it all the time, and I'm like, I don't really want to. But then they recently released the Tomb Raider. They released the Tomb Raider collection on there as well, so you know maybe I should look into that. Is a rifle despite being rats have difficulty. Yeah, so what I'm going to do here, I just want to show you what happens if you try to finish this version of Doom without completing all the other levels. Because I want you to sort of see how like shoddy some aspects of this game are. Duke Nukem could be a made striker. Whoever that could be another made striker, whoever that is. I will always be a fan of Duke Nukem 3D. I know that Duke Nukem 3D has its issues. I know, but I will always be a fan of Duke Nukem 3D. And the funny thing is, I use those on-screen cartoons because there's only like 6 images of Duke Nukem and everyone uses them ad nauseum. So like, I was like, if I'm going to have a channel with Nukem in the name, I'm going to have to kind of have like my own interpretation of the character. My first FPS was it Doom? I think it was Doom because we got the because we had a Maxwell Pentium 1 PC in 1995, I think it was, and we had Shareware Doom, Heretic Shareware, and I remember that my dad put Duke Nukem 3D Shareware on as well. Yeah, we had all the Shareware games in our house. I want to do a review and play each expansion. It was Super Noah's Ark. My first PS was Doom. So we didn't have a Super Nintendo. We had a Master System. Because for the longest time we had the Master System. And fun trivia fact about me: when people talk about Sonic 1 and 2, I always think about the Master System first because I played the hell out of those. I didn't play the 16-bit ones until the Xbox 360 era. So for me, in my headcanon, Sonic is always the 8-bit version, not the 16-bit version. I love the Master System. So I'm going to show you this now. When we click to leave this level here, when we pass through here, you can see it doesn't give us the option to go to the final level. So you get to see this again, unfortunately. But there is a reason I'm showing you this, just so you can kind of see. But yeah, you still get that ending. You still get the ending though. You don't, and you'll see what I mean in a second. You'll see what I mean. Sonic 1 Master System, Sonic 1 Mega Drive. See, I said that all the time and people don't believe me. Hated our postal. So the thing with Americans is they got the handheld Sega console, and that had the Master System versions on it. So a lot of Americans see it as the Game Gear version, not as the Master System. So, if you come here without completing all the levels, you get a DOS prompt or command prompt there. You actually get a command prompt instead of the ending scene, which is kind of hilarious on a console because, like, imagine playing Doom and then you get that command prompt there. That breaks the PC, that breaks the console illusion completely. Yeah, no, it is very interesting. But the reason that this happens is because the game actually checks to see if you've completed all the levels and that you haven't cheated. If you've cheated, you can't get to the final level. If you've not played all the levels, you can't get to the final level. They should introduce a 10 flavor hell exclusively reserved for Sonic Spinball. That is 100% an intentional gag, by the way. I hope so. I hope so. It's just funny because imagine like you play this and then you get this, and it's like you can't actually do anything with the screen, so you have to restart out of the game. The DOS prompt. No, I couldn't do anything. I was pushing all the buttons then. It wasn't doing anything. So what I'll do, if no one wants to see any of the particular levels, I'll go through on Ultraviolence now, and then same thing if you start from level 2 and not 1. Yeah, see, you have to complete all the levels. You can also, the only way you can get the BFG in this version as well is if you cheat. So if you see someone playing with this version with the BFG, you know for a fact that they've cheated. Is this playing Doom 32X? It is indeed, Mecha, yes. We've been talking about the Resurrection Project throughout the stream, so I've been telling people if they want to play a better version of this, go play the Resurrection Project. No, this isn't the... Oh, I'm going to do a dedicated stream for that at some point, because I feel a lot of people seem to want me to cover it, so I think it's something that I'll have to do. I miss when games took the piss out of the player. I mean, to be fair, with me, it's quite easy, because I'm not very good at games. Hey, Puke104, how you doing? How you doing? I hope you're having a good day. Oh, in the old days, Control-Alt-Delete twice. Yeah, so I'm going to play through UV. I don't know if I'm going to finish this one, but like we can definitely give it a shot. Because there's only 15 levels. We won't be going to the secret level again, though, I don't think. Even though that's the only place you can see Inferno's skybox in this. Hey, Powerzim, how you doing? How you doing? That's playing way too smooth. Yeah, no, so as I've mentioned, this is on an emulator. for obvious reasons, like I don't own a 32X. I do own, like I said, I think I own a I think I have a Mega Drive downstairs in storage. I'll have to have a look into whether I can set it up or not, but what would happen if you added the Super Shotgun console versions? Probably crash, because I don't think the game would know what to do with those. If I could yeah, so this port, like, this isn't too far off like what the console experience is like, because SNES is the same way you play an emulator in DOS frame rate, just isostatic copy, it's exercise that you can't save. DFG is a little overpowered. Hope to grab a copy of PS1 Doom, Final Doom, been itching to play them. Yeah, so I think you should play Final Doom on PS1. It's very underrated, and I think that, yeah, it's got its issues, but it is actually really fun. And again, I do this every now and then on the stream, because I have Final Doom on PS1 literally on the shelf next to me. That's my physical copy of PS1 Doom, and this is my copy. Well, I have 2 copies of Doom on PS1. This is the one that's upstairs here. I have the other one which is in storage at the minute, but it's the proper double barrel shell. So still pays into the PC conversion on the GBA. You have to play the Genesis Duke Nukem 3D. Yeah, I've played it. I played it for a video on the channel. It was fun. I don't know if I'd want to play it all the way through though, because it was a painful experience. It was painful. Yeah, so in the US, I think you got the long boxes. In the UK, we just got the square jewel cases. But some of my game collection is still in storage at my parents' because when we moved into this house, I didn't actually go back and get them, which is what I wanted to do and I should do at some point. I've been looking at Wolfenstein 3D clones on the Steam store because there's quite a few of them on there. It's really fun. GBA Doom is too easy to beat. I mean, it depends what difficulty you're playing on, I guess, but I think the thing with GBA Doom is that it's a bit frustrating because much like with the Sega Saturn version, we almost got a much better version of that, and Carmack kind of was a bit of a dick about it again. So I'm gonna just say something, like, I really want to make a video talking about John Carmack and how he kind of messed up several of the console ports because he was a bit overbearing. And when I say a bit overbearing, I mean a lot overbearing. Because with the Game Boy Advance version, they actually had a custom engine version running at 25 frames a second. They wanted to get it to 30 frames a second. And John Carmack literally went into his garage to find the Jaguar source code, gave it to them and said, use that, don't use your code. Yeah, but with the Game Boy Advance version, it wasn't even to do with texture warping. I think it was just because Carmack was like, you know what, I want you to use my Jaguar code. Oh, thank you, Mr. Machine, for following on Twitch. I appreciate that. Yeah, because I've debated making a video about John Carmack's kind of antics, because I know a lot of people know about the Sega Saturn fiasco. I don't think a lot of people know that there was a lot of shithousing going on with the GBA port of Doom 1 and Doom 2 on the GBA, because if you listen to interviews with the Williams, the guy that made the GBA 1 port, the head of that, what was his name, Palmer, he actually says he thinks that they stole some of the code that he wrote for Doom 1 and gave it to Taurus when they made Doom 2 on GBA. It's all fascinating. Like I said, every version of Doom has like a very fascinating story on consoles. It's great. I have. It's on my list of things I want to make a video about Duke Nukem Advance. I was taking him out of the piss out of Carmack. Yeah, no, Carmack was very. Carmack had this like weird kind of like superiority complex. Like he always had to kind of like have the final say, which is why the Saturn version of Doom is such a chug buster. Oh, I know. Oh, I know. I've read some of his things about his people he's been supporting and what he said about various groups. I've heard it was very disappointing, but alas, Civi loves Carmack. That Doom mod code being given to the right of Doom 2. Did you cover that in the video before? I've seen a video about that recently. So I put that into my GBA 1 quirks video. But when I get to the in retrospect for Doom 1 on GBA, I'm going to do a whole thing about it because I've been reading various books. There's a book I've been reading. It's like anecdotes from various game developers, and Palmer actually sits down and he talks through like the whole process of the GBA Doom 1 development, and then he gets to talking about how like Carmack was a bit of a dick, and then like how they felt that they were going to get the job to do Doom 2 on GBA, and then they didn't get it, and then they found out that some of their code had potentially ended up in Doom 2 on GBA, and it's all very messy and very fun. I'm surprised it hasn't been covered more over the years. I can't believe John St. John knows Civi and got him on Postal 4. I didn't know that. At least Romero's God tier Chad. I mean, Romero's chill. Like back in the day, obviously, like he let it all get to his head a little bit, you know. But the thing is, and I've said this in conversations, if you became a millionaire overnight and you were like part of the team that made Doom, would you not have a slight ego? Everyone on id Software had an ego in '94. It wasn't just Romero. Everyone had like a thing going. Well, that's the thing. So he talked. The thing is, like he says in the thing, he's not bothered by it. But I think it's really interesting that like. For all intents and purposes, they were promised that they could do Doom 2, and then it was kind of taken off them. So, like I said, it's all good fodder for a future video. Yeah, so in 1994, Romero was constantly not working on Doom 2, to the point where they had to sit him down in like a board meeting and go, "We need you to finish your levels for Doom 2." It kind of got to that level with him. The Doom 1 GBA port was awful. Yeah, and the part of the reason it's awful is because, like I said, the team at Palmer, they had a version of Doom running at 25 frames a second. It was the original levels, and they had it working. And then Carmack saw it and went, "I'm going to go and find the Jaguar source code." And apparently it was in his garage. He went rummaging for it, and then like he brought it to them and said, "You're using this. Forget what you've done already." And again, it's just an example of like Carmack kind of like just doing what he felt like. Is it true that Romero wasted so much time? Yeah, so that's one of the big. If you read Masters of Doom, it's brought up in there. Like Carmack was of the opinion that he was basically playing the role of Rockstar, and he wasn't, you know, putting in full effort with Doom 2. Now, in the more recent years, they've become friends again. So it's not like it didn't permanently destroy their friendship. But back then, it caused a lot of resentment because it meant that like the rest of the team at id Software had to pick up where he was like dropping the ball. So I'm actually going to reach out to them. I'm going to reach out to the developers of GBA Doom 1, and I'm going to see if they've got anything from that, because it does sound really interesting, and I'd love to put it in like the in retrospect, because even if it's just like a screenshot or two of it, it would be really, really cool to see. But obviously, I've found that reaching out to some people is not as fruitful as you'd hope it would. The Wolf of Id Street. Romero only disliked Carmack because of the development's Quake. It was either going to be shooter or RPG. Yeah, and to be fair, the development of Quake was like such a mess, like all over the place. That's what killed id Software as it was. Because Romero wanted it to be more like he wanted forests in Quake, he wanted all kinds in Quake, and then they basically just went, well, let's just make it with like similar to Doom weapons, and he was not happy. He was not a happy bunny. Why does this room have a skybox? I don't know. They do this with some of the Jaguar levels. They just randomly throw in the skybox, and it's like, okay. Oh yeah, definitely. And again, anything I'm saying negative about Romero, it's purely in the context of 1994 hearsay. Because obviously Masters of Doom, biased book. Romero's released his own book where he's talked about it on his side. Obviously that's bias as well, because everything's biased. You know, when you write anything, it's biased to a degree. So it's important that, like, when I say all that, I'm just recounting what's been written in books that have been published. By no means am I saying that Romero was like a nightmare. Because to be fair, like I said, and I'll repeat it, if I became a millionaire overnight, you cannot tell me you would not become like slightly more ego driven. Slightly. Yeah, I think it's pure. Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, like, Romero's so cool and chill, and I've not reached out to him yet for any of my videos, but I have a feeling if I reached out to him and said, like, hey, could I get just like a bit of insight on this or that, I'm sure he would help with that. So I have no problem. And he seems very chill in his interviews. So I've nothing but like warmth for Romero and like what he's done for the Doom community. Katana was such a mess. It was, and again, though, he kind of deserved that one because he was the one that said it was going to be like the bee's knees, and it ended up being anything but. Oh, I love Deus Ex. So you're all going to hate me for this. I actually liked Invisible War, the sequel to Deus Ex. I like that just as much as the first game. So I want to cover them in the long. Maybe when the remasters hit, I might do a video on Deus Ex and talk about it. I think it's become perspective how hard he was humble. Carmack never really known failure. He's never had that moment. Yeah, I can completely agree with you on that one. I think because Carmack's always been held up as like the golden child of id Software, you know, the one that kind of made the technology work and all that. I think that like he's always been kind of like given a pass. Being a millionaire in the mid-90s would be like 5-6 million dropped in your lap these days. Exactly. And the thing is, it wasn't just the money. Like, you have to remember, Doom just became this cultural phenomenon. Like, within like a month of Doom launching in December 1993, they had movie companies wanting to do movies with them. Like, Universal was desperate to do a movie. Comic books, people wanted to do comic books with Doom. Like, people wanted to take the engine, you know, and run it, license it for their games. Like, everyone wanted Doom. There was talk of a TV series at one point. The thing with Doom is it just became this big cultural like phenomenon, and at the center of all that was this team of about a dozen people who, like, overnight they went from being nobodies to being like absolute rock stars. Yeah, and that's why, like, I'm very careful with what I say about Carmack, because I do not agree with a lot of the stuff he has said about other issues, and I do not like some of the stuff he said, but I respect the work that he's done, and it's it's the whole, can you separate the art from the artist thing? And for me, in that sense, as long as he's not sort of putting that into his games, I can kind of go, okay, I don't want to hear that, but okay. Plus, he has a right to say what he wants to say. You know, not everything has to appeal to me, but at the same time, I do not have to agree with him. So I appreciate everything he did for Doom, for id Software, because without him, there wouldn't be a Doom. So I can say all that. Like, I'm a big fan of all that, but I don't acknowledge all the stuff he says around it, because for me, it's like, no. If he was more outspoken about that stuff, like if he was like super outspoken about that stuff, then it would be a problem. But luckily, he keeps it. He's like me. He keeps his politics to himself unless he's challenged on it, and I think that's like, I can take that. It's like, compared to other people. A 2 fries at the edge 22. I can see how he got. Yeah. Oh, there's a great story, by the way. Super Shotgun. There's a great story in is it Masters of Doom, where they all kind of went out one afternoon and just bought Ferraris. They literally went down to the dealership in Texas just so that they could in Houston, so they could buy Ferraris together. I love Doug 10 Nepal's work, but Doug himself's a scumbag asshole. Yeah, and that's the problem, unfortunately. Free will means people are going to say things that I disagree with. Sometimes I really disagree with them, but it's about being able to say, as long as like you're not doing stuff in a destructive way, you can do what you want, but I don't have to accept what you're saying as like gospel for me. I gotta go. See you, wise buddy. Hey Reinhard. Yeah, it's saying anything about sometimes solve 90% of your problems. Yeah, I feel, because everyone's entitled to their views, but sometimes those views, there's a line, I think, and Carmack's not quite crossed that line for me. It's just like disappointing. It's disappointing that a guy that made a game about shooting Nazis and then got upset when Nintendo wants to take some of that out of the SNES version is kind of like going to far right gaming conventions. If you get what I mean, it's a bit like disappointing that. He's not J.K. Rowling. Yeah, that's kind of my thing. Like coffee, like that's the thing I'd say. Yeah, I kind of go with you on that one. No, we're talking about hey German Peter. No, we were talking about Carmack, because Carmack's done a lot of stuff for the Doom community, but he's also made some questionable steps in stuff he's done and said. Yeah, how you doing, German? How you doing? Because I am staunchly like against a lot of what gets said, like in that regard. So I'm like, Oh no, not Adrian Carmack, John Carmack. We're talking about. So I have no idea what Adrian Carmack's like stance on all that is. But yeah, it's what. Oh yeah, oh that's fair. But yeah, no, he's not done anything that's made me go, I hate you outright. It's just disappointing. Like I say, it's disappointing that the guy that made the game about shooting Nazis is kind of like a bit of a you know, friend of them, some of them now. Adrian just designed stuff. Yeah, Adrian kept quiet. But yeah, as pointed out numerous times, this is an emulator, so please, like, don't take this as gospel. But we've already spotted a bunch of fun things playing through this. This is the second playthrough I'm doing on stream, by the way. Here, we've already completed this on the Herbie Plenty difficulty. Yeah, we were saying that, German. Like Romero was really humbled and sort of calmed down over the years, and he's the one like you would have expected to be the most wild later in his life. It just goes to show, you know. But yeah, on my wrestling accounts, like I've got into running battles with J.K. Rowling, like over some of her things, because like, especially a few years ago, like she when she really was firing up her drum on that, like I was one of the like loudest in her comments, like, and that's why like I got blocked by her. They were younger than me when they made Doom. Cliffy B also said a few dumb things, but nothing crazy. People say dumb things. We all grow and mature as people. We all mature and grow as people. So it's not like, you know, I don't think you can hold someone to standards to something they said like 20, 25 years ago. You just hope that they kind of grow to understand why sometimes like what they say is not the best thing to say. Yeah, unfortunately, it's just one of those things. Unfortunately, the political climate in the world is breeding that. The UK is horrible for it at the minute. I've actually been looking at getting an Irish passport sorted, not to move, but just so I have that as an option if like this country continues down its wonderful steps. Because my family has a house out in Oldcastle in Ireland, and you know the option's always there to move if it gets too messy. Makes the work how it did on Engine even crazier to do that something. Yeah, I feel like politics are going crazy around the world these days, as if the Wild West has come back. Yeah. Well, I'm kind of hoping that, but we've still got like 3 or 4 years before we have to really worry about it too much. So I'm kind of hoping sensible, cooler heads start prevailing at some point. But again, like I don't want to bog the stream down too much with politics. But yeah. Still crazy to me that those rockets go backwards. No, Douglas, unfortunately, I do not have the budget for a real 32X. I have a Mega Drive downstairs. I think it's in the big box downstairs. What I'll do, I'll have a look for it and post a picture of it on my Blue Sky. But yeah, I'm open to getting a 32X and playing this for real on there. So yeah, please, unfortunately, like, don't take this as gospel for what the actual experience is like. Yeah, German. I that's how I feel. I really want to get all these consoles, but usually it's just to play Doom. I really want a Super Nintendo for that reason. I also want to play Wolfenstein 3D on real hardware, but it's like, can I justify it for that one console, for that one game? It's close. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. It's not perfect one-to-one, but it gives you an idea. And the 32X version, it was noted for being pretty decent at performance. Like, it's not a complete washout like the Super Nintendo version is. But I like the Super Nintendo version, by the way. That's oh, see, that's so cool, German. I love that. I love that. If I had the money, I would. Maybe one day. Maybe when YouTube actually starts paying us decently for videos, maybe I can finally look into that as a reward. Yeah, German does really great videos. If you've not been watching them, you definitely should subscribe to them. German's actually, it's funny because I didn't know, I didn't know about German's channel until someone commented on one of my videos, "Oh, you're doing Quirks videos just like German Peter," and then I went and watched their videos and I was like, "Oh wow!" I was like, "Okay, yeah." But German does some really great videos. There's a lot of thought-provoking videos they make. Like one video I really enjoyed was their exploration of the city levels in Doom 2, because that made me reconsider like how I was going to approach my video on city levels for Doom 2, because it was very considered. I really appreciated like the work that they put in for that. There's a modded version of 32X that's been improved. Yeah, it's the 32X Resurrection project. I'm not doing that today, but I might cover it in a future stream. 3D Porter was done by Doom Queen Becky. Yeah, so the reason that she got asked to do that was because she did such a good job on the 3DO port that 3DO themselves actually went to her and were like, "Hey, can you please do this?" But yeah, she got roped into doing the 3DO port under the pretense that it was mostly done. She got a raw deal with that, and I'm glad that like history has been kind to her and not to everything else around that port. Yeah, people have been saying she's got to go. Is it a GoFundMe for her? Like, I think that's. I'm very tempted to do a video and sort of try to publicize that, because I think like she deserves the attention from that in a good way. I sent you a GoFundMe. Ah, nice. You did. Yes, you did. Sorry. I'm terrible. I don't use Discord that much. I really should use it more. But when I sit on my computer, either I'm playing games or I don't really I'm not really looking at Discord that much, so I feel bad. Sorry for missing messages. Well, no, the fact that she got it done in like 10 weeks as well, it's like... But yeah, someone mentioned that in the stream yesterday, and like I said, I'm tempted to make a video just to raise awareness of the GoFundMe, and also maybe to celebrate her work, so people can understand like why she deserves. Oh, that was not my smartest move there. I mean, I wouldn't have done it. If someone misled me about the state of something like that, and then they expected me to kind of like fill in the gap, I'd have just walked. I'd have been like, bye. What is this? 15 frames a second? So like I said, this isn't real hardware. I wish it was. Oh, did it? Sorry about that. Oh my god, I forgot Return to Castle Wolfenstein was Doom 2. I should get that. You should. It's also on the original Xbox. So, interestingly, I've wanted to cover the Xbox version of Wolfenstein 3D, because the only way you can play that is to beat Return to Castle Wolfenstein on Xbox, because you get that as an unlockable. And I'm trying to G myself up to play through Return to Castle Wolfenstein just so I can play Wolfenstein 3D and do a video on it. Return to Castle Wolfenstein for Doom 2. Still have no idea how she did it. I mean, she was just good at what she was good at what she did. She was really good at what she did. Like, there's a reason that like the Wolfenstein port on 3DO is probably one of the best versions of Wolfenstein. It's between that and the Jaguar version. Oh, sorry, for Xbox, sorry, for original Xbox. Bum 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 bum. Yes, this is the bum 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 version of this track. But yeah, I mean, for the original Xbox, I really want to do a video on like Wolfenstein 3D. But you have to play through Return to Castle Wolfenstein, so it's like, I'll get around to that. I'm surprised by how good Wolf 3D looked. So, if you want my honest assessment, I think that Wolf 3D is better on Jaguar than the original. But that's just my personal opinion. Because when I played the 3DO version for that video, I was like, this is better. This is so much fun. Like, they made so many good considered additions. Bum bum bum. Somebody called Tom Green. The 3DO looks beautiful. I feel like most people didn't mind the frame rate back then. I was part of the team working on the prequel levels. Oh, really? That's cool. That's really cool. Great memories. I can imagine. I want to make another Wolfenstein video. It's been a while, and I kind of miss it because I enjoyed making the Wolfenstein videos. Wolfenstein's a fun game. If you don't sit down and play it for all the way through in one sitting, it's actually really okay, aggressively okay on PC. They Kevin blur together. The Jaguar ports are more enjoyable for me in comparison. Yeah, and like I said, I think that like they did a great job with the console ports in general. So, although it's funny because when I've been researching about PlayStation 1 Doom, I've seen quite a lot about how Nintendo was very hands-on with the Wolfenstein censorship. They were, and the team at id Software just hated every bit of working with Nintendo. So that might make a fun video in future. I don't like how the Spear of Destiny expansion packs have the USC texture. I think that was just them trying to tie everything together. Because back then they didn't really put much thought into that, did they? I've not really played all of Spear of Destiny. Also, what's weird is I think on Super Nintendo, they don't have green blood in Doom, but in the GBA port, it's all green blood. I hear the mutants, no matter the version, unfair super aggressive hit scanners. That's what I'm saying, maybe it was just done as like connective tissue. Yeah, when I play Doom 2 on GBA, I always marvel at the Doom 2 enemies with the green blood sprites, because someone went in and actually changed all those sprites to green blood, and I marvel at the Mancubus in particular. It looks worse somehow. I get why they did it, it just looks worse to me. But yeah, I'm a big fan of the GBA Doom ports. Even if they are janky. This looks like everyone's better than the photo. No, so this is emulated, so don't take this as gospel one for one. Doom Wolf 3D are somewhat connected, since Wolf 3D levels are in Doom 2. Doom 2 GBA is far from janky. It depends what level you're playing on. It can be really fun if you're not playing on like any of the super large levels, and then it just becomes a bit janky. Also, the armor glitch is like such a pain on Doom 2 GBA. So basically, if you, I don't know how exactly it works, but I know that if you have armor and it carries over to the next level, you have to find an armor bonus to activate it in the next level. It's especially when they remade the Wolfenstein levels and a bunch. Yeah, so the other day, I made a video. I did the Doom 2 quirks video, and I said in it they didn't censor it. But then I went and looked at my GBA Doom 2 footage after I'd done the voiceover, and I was like, oh wait, they've changed the things in that game. So that's why I put on screen that the GBA did change it, even though I don't think that was censorship. I think that was more just to tie it in with Return to Castle Wolfenstein, but I don't know. I wasn't part of that development team. Doom 1 was janky though. Oh, by the way, this is sugar free. Like, don't worry. Like, that is sugar free. When it comes to monster, my favourite is the Doctor. I feel the question should be, should it run Doom instead of can it run Doom? So, an interesting port of Doom, well, not port, but recreation of Doom, I found was a Game Boy Color version someone made. It was really fun, and I was going to do a video on it, but it's only like 2 levels long, so I couldn't really justify that as a full video. But people have tried to get Doom onto all kinds of consoles. It's really fun. Love that soundtrack. It's so crusty. Best version I saw was a satellite running Doom. Can you imagine? Wolfenstein 3D on GBA is uncensored. Yeah, it's also a bit of a rough port, that one. I didn't enjoy my time with that one too much. I'm sure those doors are meant to open. I'm sure I've not just broken the level. Hello? Okay, there you are. Actually, a lot of decent attempts at 3D games on the GBA. Some cast phase. Yeah, Night Dive. I've seen that people describe Night Dive as probably the most intense game graphically on the GBA. Driver 2 as well. That's in that discussion. Those rockets, you just can't unsee it. Yeah, once you know that the rockets are pointing back at you, you really can't unsee that. It's one of those things. Look around the outside area. Yeah, no. So I mean. Okay, I'll have a look outside the outside area. So normally on the PC version, this area is a lot larger, but you can see here, they've put these doors here. And you can see, oh, see that teleporter takes us there. And if we head outside here, you can see this actually drops us back in the starting area. So they've made this area a lot smaller. Also note these walls don't come down. So I'm assuming they've removed all these areas behind those. Have you heard about TNT? We're called sellouts for accepting a publishing deal with Romero. Yes, so I'm going to cover that in the final Doom in retrospect, because that's a big, like, beefy topic. We're really cool for multiplayer. Yeah, so I feel like this area would be actually really fun for multiplayer, because you could probably shoot up there. So yeah, you can see that the Jaguar version of this level, it doesn't actually teleport you into a room full of monsters, it just kind of ends. Imagine going through that level and dying to a zombie man. Yep. And it's probably happened. Although one thing I like about the console games is that you get to continue on with your weapons. Yeah, it had the X-Band. So X-Band was a service, and it was available for Genesis as well, I believe, where like you could connect your console to a modem and play online. I don't know why you would want to, because from the footage I've seen, it's like 5 frames a second, but it was nice that it was there. So they do, in map 3 they have the military base, but it's got the Inferno Sky. It's really weird. We went there on the first playthrough, but I didn't fancy going there on this playthrough because I feel like I'd probably die there. But yeah, I mean, I don't think any of the console ports of Doom are truly awful. I just think it's fun to sort of talk about the development of them. That's a very crusty version of this song. So that's why I think this has got the music for the secret map, even though technically this shouldn't be the music here. I'm curious, can the enemies use the teleporters in this version? I don't think they can. I think the OC sounds perfectly fine. It's a bit cross. Yeah, so I think. Oh, okay. I think the thing with this soundtrack, I think, is that it's not terrible. I actually think the Jaguar one's a bit worse overall, but the thing is you don't get to hear the Jaguar one because you can only hear it like between the levels. It's not like you can hear it in the levels like this. GBA Wolf had no music. It didn't. GBA Doom Wolf would have had way worse music. Agreed. Like I said, I think this is a perfectly fine version of Doom. If you were playing back in the 90s and you got this, you'd have been thrilled. I just think that the 32X as a whole was a mistake, and I think, in retrospect, I think like we can all kind of agree the 32X was a bit of an ill-conceived mess of a console. Like I said earlier on as well, there's no spectres in this version, so where a spectre should normally be, there's usually a pinky. Yeah, so unfortunately you can't really circle strafe in this version. You can see it trying to come down there. Yeah, and I mean, to be fair as well, like, if you had a Jaguar, like, that version ran without any modifications needed as well, so you had a good you had a good time. And then the Super Nintendo version, you didn't actually need to buy anything for that version, did you? Because that came with the FX chip already on the motherboard. My least favorite enemy is probably the Pain Elemental, because if you leave a Pain Elemental unsupervised, it's just going to cause pain. It's just going to cause pain. But no, the Archvile, like, it's fine. If you know what it's, if you follow what it's doing, it's fine. But I do not like Pain Elementals because they fill rooms with Lost Souls. Lost Souls charge you. They're a nuisance. Hey Birdhouse Brian, how you doing? How you doing? I hate when I'm circle strafing bullet sponges and turn to the opposite direction and end up running into their projectile. Q. Ah. I bet 32X Sega CD ports this would have been killer since they could have used. Yeah, but then the problem with that is, like, how many people will have bought a Sega CD and a 32X? I think that's what killed this one in the end, because if this had been on base Genesis, and obviously it wouldn't have run on base Genesis, I think it would have been a lot more successful in terms of sales. But obviously 32X was this, like, add-on for a console that was already aging out. People shit on the price of the 3DO, but the thing is, it fails to realize it wasn't meant for the same market. Wasn't the 3DO also like a media console as well? It had like a bunch of media things that it threw into the mix as well. So it was kind of, oh, who's hitting me from behind? Also, just to point out, there is no infighting. So even if I let these two infight, they're not going to do anything about it. Yeah, I get that. Like, it was a different. It was like up to the manufacturers to price it, because the 3DO was kind of licensed to various manufacturers. I prefer this to the Super Nintendo port, only because I feel that the Super Nintendo port suffers from input lag a bit too much for my liking. But then again, like, it's up to personal taste. I think the Super Nintendo port is amazingly impressive. I love the Super Nintendo port for what it is. Yeah, so this version came out first. This came out on the 21st of November 1994, and that's the day because Sega were desperate for this to come out as a launch title for the 32X add-on. And then a week later the Jaguar came out, but Carmack had been working on the Jaguar version a lot longer. I think he says in one of the books I read, one of his comments was 32X version was developed in half the time the Jaguar version was, so he got like double. The Jaguar version got double the time that this version did, and I think it shows. I think you can see that. Hey Schwa, how you doing? How you doing? Video deserved better. Doom Guy looks blind on the SNES. I don't know who pointed it out earlier, but if you look at Doom Guy's face when he's turning, you'll notice that his hair kind of moves with him in this version. That's because they literally just flipped the hood, his image on the hood, rather than kind of giving him like sprites that can move. So Another thing that this version does that's interesting. Cost saving. Every frame counts. Hey Red Drummer, how you doing? How you doing? Welcome, welcome. Like I said, none of these console ports I hate. I actually think they're all fascinating. Like, they all have their own stories. They're all really fun to talk about. And I think that it's been really fun just going through and reading how they all came to be. And what I'm really excited for is I've actually, for one of them, upcoming ones, I've actually managed to get some quotes off the developers themselves. Because there's a few later ones where it's hard, where there's no actual like information about the development, or it's very kept to a minimum. So I've actually reached out to some of the developers, and some of them have been really lovely, and they've given me a lot of information about how those ports came together. So I'm really looking forward to talking about that in the videos. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Doom as well. Doom's great. I think Doom has such an integral good design, it's really difficult to fuck up the other ports. Nice. Yeah, like because when I do the in retrospects, I want to kind of talk about the development. I want to make sure that like it's clear that like these just didn't happen. There was like decisions made, like what got put in, what didn't get put in. I'm going to be meeting John in the new year. Oh, excellent! That's really cool. Just discovered your channels a couple of weeks ago, and I'm loving all the Doom content. Just want to thank you. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I really appreciate that. Thank you. See this? So I played Gears of War on 360. I used to play Gears of War 1 a lot with friends. We used to play multiplayer all the time. And then with number 2 and 3, I wasn't so into the single player. But I still played the multiplayer. I've not played them in a good few years though. You can't stand Doom 2 on the same disc. I get that. I played Gears of War with my dad and Gears 2 by myself. Gears of War 1 was such a vibe. Gears of War 1 was such a vibe when it came out. Like, it foreshadowed everything wrong with the Xbox 360 and PS3 generation of consoles. Like, everything being grey and brown, but they were good fun. You go away, please. Fucking ending in tricks and traps. You probably played against me when I was a kid. What was your gamer tag? Back then, it was one hit run. I haven't used that gamer tag though, like in like years, like because I stopped. Because after the Xbox 360, I stopped playing online. I kind of backed away from online gaming because I got a bit bored of it. Plus, the people I played with, they went on to PS4, and you know I wasn't a big PlayStation gamer at that point. Nice, I like that squirrel. I only played Gears 1 on PC. Oh, so did you play the Games for Windows Live version then? I remember that. I bought that because I was convinced, like, you know, hey, it won't be that bad. John Romero's my hero. John Romero's a cool, chill guy. As we were saying earlier on, he's mellowed over the years, and I think that's kind of made it a lot easier to appreciate his work. My big introduction to Doom was hilariously Doom 3 on Xbox. It was mind-blowing at the time. Yeah, so do you know what's funny? My nephew, who was quite young at that time, we were told we were not allowed to play Doom 3 while he was in the house because he used to get upset. He used to scream the house down, like he was only a little kid back then when he saw I was playing Doom on Xbox. So we used to play classic Doom, and he always used to want to play co-op with us. And he always used to call that the fun Doom. So, and funnily enough, that's the first time I played Doom multiplayer, because up to that point we only had it on PC, and obviously we didn't have internet. So I was 4 years old when Doom came out. I was born in 1990, so you can work out from there like how old I was. The memory of Game Windows Live still sends shivers down my spine. I think it's done that to a whole generation of gamers. Although I'll never forget in Fallout 3 you could just give yourself the achievements because they didn't close the command console, so you could literally you could hit the tab button and then add achievement 01, add achievement 02, and you could give yourself all like achievements, including the DLC, without owning it. It was great. Doom came out, good for it. that's. I mean, have you seen those imps? Girl, those imps walking down the runway. I grew up with all my siblings. I was -5 when Doom came out. Aww. I like, by the way, that I'm trying to change guns, and the game's basically like, you haven't got any other guns. I'm all for guns at the minute. Go on, I can try and answer, or at least I can throw it to the everyone in the chat. I feel quite console ports by chance. I'm familiar with the N64 one. So when I was a kid, my dad bought a Voodoo card for the PC, and he played Quake on it all the time. I was not allowed to play Quake. My dad was really cool about it, but my mum didn't like. She thought Quake was too realistic and graphic. So I ended up playing it on the N64 more. I did play it on PC. Like I used to sneak in because my mum never checked out what we were doing on the computer. But yeah, I'm fully aware of the Quake N64 version. I mean, to be fair, like my nan used to hate when we played Doom in the house when she was there. Like because she used to babysit us in the morning. You know, when my dad and mum used to go off to work, my granddad and my nan would come and watch us for an hour or two. She would not let us even talk about Doom because the first time she saw it, she shrieked and she was like, "What is this? This isn't for kids," you know, and like. The agreement we had was that we weren't allowed to go out and play Doom. We did, but like, you know. Hey Rishin, how you doing? How you doing? Welcome. I've been trying to play them lately, N64 in particular, but both of them are insane amounts of input lag. I mean, if you download a decent N64 emulator, you should be able to play it on a PC. I'm on mobile. Ah, nice. So one thing I hate about YouTube, by the way, it's not letting me unify the chats yet for the mobile and the normal YouTube chats. It's a bit annoying because when this stream's done, there's going to be 2 VODs of this stream. Even though they've explicitly told me that that it'll merge them together, so I'm having to kind of think about how I'm going to handle that. My dad set up a parental password to block the violence down when he bought Duke Nukem 3D. My dad didn't care. Like, my dad was so cool because, like, he would literally just put the game on the PC and be like, have at it. And my mum didn't care. She didn't care until one of her friends at work said to her, like, oh, you know that Doom's really violent. And I remember, like, she lost the battle over Doom. Like, she lost the battle over Doom, us being allowed to play Doom, because we were so into Doom at that point. It was like, it was pointless her even trying. But she wouldn't let us play Quake. She was like, that game's just for, like, you know, for Dad. Parents are funny creatures. Oh. I'm so lucky to have had a gamer parent. Yeah, my dad, like I said, my dad was really chill about it all. My dad didn't really care. Games like Doom and Mortal Kombat were controversial back in the day, rather than the need for change age ratings. They did. Doom actually released, I think, the day after they had like congressional hearings on it, so like Doom landed right in the sweet spot for that kind of thing. That's cool. My parents didn't care much either. I think I was one when was more upset about seeing. What I'm doing, I'm coming back here to get some ammo because I'm running a bit low on ammo. I think I was a bit wasteful. Got some health here at least. Yeah, because my parents didn't. The music in this level is so weird. I want to see if I can get to this chain gun before the thing shuts on up. No, that wasn't going to happen. that was optimistic by. That was very optimistic by me there. What's your Doom port? I've always loved the PS1 version. So favorite console port is probably the PS1 version. Just because I think it's so unique and interesting. So for those who weren't here earlier, by the way, I'm going to show this off now. One of the things about this version of Doom is that if you look at the Caco Demon here and the Pinky, you can see that they can't actually see me. Now we were laughing about this earlier. The reason this is because in 32X Doom, the enemies only have the front-facing sprites, but they can still be looking away from you. So he's still standing menacingly. So yeah, if you weren't here earlier, this is a good showcase for the limitations of like how 32X handles enemies, even though you can only see one side of a sprite. Yeah, so you can see like even though it looks like it's looking at us, it's not. But if we sort of strafe around here, you can see it activates it. So so friendly. They're so friendly. Don't pet them. Don't pet the Caco Demon. Do not pet the Caco Demon. Just like what? Sorry, I meant it will appear highlighted. First strike lacks the Caco Demon butthole. Yeah, no perving on the Caco Demon butthole in this version. Not for you. I really wanted this box of shotgun shells. That's the only reason I did that. I'll never understand why they did that to him. What, give him a butthole? Maybe the Caco Demon just wanted one. Hey, your pal Lex, how you doing? How you doing? Yeah, so we're playing this on emulator. Unfortunately, I am. That's good to hear. Good to see someone stream Classic Doom on YouTube. Yeah, no, I feel like the console versions deserve the moment in the sun, and you know, like I said, I do not think any of the console ports are awful. I feel like they're all pretty interesting and unique in their own way. This might have been a mistake. Okay, got through that. Pretty rough, but we got through that. Road to 10k subs. Yeah, I mean, it's probably going to happen sometime this month. When it happens, I'll do a big 12-hour stream for it, because that'll be fun. But yeah, I don't want to jinx it because it might not happen. Can you imagine? We get all the way to 9.666, and then it's like, nah, that's it for you. You can go back to where you got Berserk. Okay, I'm going back. What would you like to see? Oh, I can see what you're talking about. Look at that. Look at that. Yeah, no, yeah, I can. It's the same on the other side as well. Yeah, I see. So you can see there that the go to the right, go to the right of the door track. Yeah, so it's the same on both sides here. They haven't put in like a proper texture there. So when you got to 4K, be pretty quick, man. Yeah, so it's funny. Over the last like few months, it's kind of picked up a lot. It's a shame because like obviously like I had very legitimate reasons to not post for the first half of the year because my partner was really not well, and I couldn't. But it's nice that like I was able to go away and come back, and it didn't seemingly kill the channel, because I was convinced when I was away that like when I came back, like the channel, it would be impossible to get the channel back to like the momentum it had. I wonder if they used the texture and removed and they forgot to replace it. Quite possibly. Okay, so we were discussing earlier on, by the way, I think it's the GBA version where that second pillar there doesn't actually come down. What I want is these guys to come up here. Okay, they're coming in here. Excellent. The reason I want that is because I want to be able to explore out here a bit, pick up all the goodies, and then get out of here. Interestingly, you don't find the whole mills effectively. I wonder if they changed. It might just be because it's a different flavour of the engine. Because the Hall of Mirrors, I think, is designed to sort of... It's a quirk of the Doom engine. And the fact that it doesn't really end. Or is it the PS1 version? Okay. I know there's a version where like it doesn't come down, and you have to sort of use a trick to kill the Baron inside. Yeah, Discord. I use Discord. I do not have a Discord server though, and I don't think I want a Discord server. The thing is, when I'm not making videos or anything, I generally don't use Discord. So I mean, you can have my Discord. It's at that Nukem guy. So if you want to say hi on there, you can. But I don't use Discord that much. So if I don't respond to you, unfortunately, it's nothing to do with you. It's to do with me just not using Discord. Yeah. People have asked me to set up a Discord server, but I'm like, I just kind of, I don't really use Discord enough to kind of do that. Plus, there's plenty of good Doom communities out there. Like, you know, you don't need me to make another Doom Discord server. Oh, sorry. I need to install the app on my, because I use the web browser version of Discord. That's how little I use it. Yeah, and that's the thing as well. Like, it's like maybe if I don't know, maybe if this was my full-time gig, I would. But it's just it's a lot. It's a lot. Like, it's like you have to hire moderators, manage servers, you have to remove content. It's like. I don't know if this was the right move here. I should have just gone for the exit. Discord's a fun platform. Yeah, I mean, I mean, the thing for me is most of the people I talk to, I use Telegram for. So so for me, it's like I'm not a big fan of, like, I used to sit on like Windows Live Messenger. I used to sit on Skype. I used to sit in like vent servers, TeamSpeak. I haven't done that for a long time though. It's gun is off, lol. Balls. Get enough loyal fans and they might be your moderators. That's what my wife did TikTok. Yeah, no, I get that. Like, I think if maybe at some point in the future I'll look into it properly, but it's for me, it's kind of like I kind of like the sort of like, if people want to talk, I can talk to them, but I'm one of those people who's like, when I'm at my PC and I'm not working, I'm generally kind of not really talking to many people. I'm very weird like that. To say I like technology, I'm not very connected. No worries, your pal Lex. Have a good one. All I know about Telegram is it's full of Nazis or furries, and there is no in between. Well, let me tell you, I'm not in that. I'm not in the Nazi camp. Let me tell you that for nothing. I think it's weird. I find all that weird. Have a good day, Red Drummer. Thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate that. Spider-Man PS2. I like Spider-Man. So I played Spider-Man on the GameCube. That was the closest we ever got to a proper GTA game on GameCube. That and True Crime, which was garbage. I hated True Crime as a kid. Ugh. GameCube, being a GameCube owner was so sad because you never got the good games. You always got like the cast-off games. I know the guy's not doing it, but I feel like people use Telegram for illegal stuff. No. I don't use Telegram. Like, I use Telegram because a lot of my friends are on there, and I have that. I have WhatsApp, and I have. I used to have Discord on my phone. I took that off because it kept prompting me to like join servers, and it was like, I don't want to do that. The best GTA clone was Mercenaries. I have not played Mercenaries. I really should. Yeah, I'll do 3D pieces. So the thing is, I did do a video where I compared the Jaguar and the PC levels directly. So I am open to doing something like that. I love the Getaway. So I never liked the Getaway. The Getaway was like one of those games that I never really jived with. And I never liked the fact that you had to lean to heal. It used to bother me so much. So someone was talking earlier about like sections that have weird outdoor areas. Well, look what they've done to this area. They've made this an outdoor section. That's fair. Like, the thing is, when I make my videos saying like, oh, I love this level, or I don't love this level, I'm fully aware of the fact that like it's just my opinion. I'm not one of these people who's like, my opinion carries any kind of weight. I just like making levels, talking about videos talking about certain levels. Like the one for the Living End, for example, I was really excited to do that one because I love the Living End, and so it was like I want to make a video about it. There's one going up later on the channel. It's about the factory. I think the factory is really interesting to talk about because it's like it's almost a good level, I think. Don't diss the copper feel the wall to heal system. I mean, I didn't like I said, maybe if I go back and play it now, like maybe on the new channel when I launch the new channel, I'm planning to do some GTA videos over there. So maybe I could do a getaway video because that'd be pretty fun. Because I have a PS2 behind me. And the beautiful thing with it is I don't actually have to buy games for it because I've got a hard drive, so I can literally just load games onto it. See, this is what we were talking about earlier, by the way. I'm going to stop here just so you can admire this. Look at this. Look at this work here. Instead of there being like an exit switch here, it's just a wall texture. Hey, Cyberlink, how you doing? How you doing? The setting of voice acting was why I like Getaway so much. It was really good. The texture is misaligned. It is misaligned incredibly. It's down there. You can see it there. Look, you can see it. It's just at the bottom. I love that. So, do you know what annoyed me about the Getaway? You could only access the free roam once you completed the game once. But then the second game, which was buggier, messier, and crashed a lot, you could do it from the start. And it's like, thanks for that. I'm getting hit by everything here, aren't I? Fun fact, if you played this on the PS1, there's a Mancubus in this level. There's actually two, I think. I think there's two Mancubus. There's one outside here, which obviously isn't in this version. And then there's another one, like, in front of the yellow door. The frame rate on this is better than expected. I wonder how this would have on the Sega Genesis. So just to kind of point out Undead Man, this is an emulated version. So I am running this on an emulator. I'm not running this on like real hardware. So it's running on an emulator that's fairly accurate, but take that into account before you look at the performance and go, wow, this is... But it should be noted, 32X was considered a decent performer. It performs slightly worse than the Jaguar in real situations. Did anyone actually test this port? So I know that it was pretty I know that it was pretty much like being worked on right up until the release. Because I know that John Carmack, because he even put it on the id Software blog, he knew this version was going to be inferior weeks before like this version actually came out. Yeah, so I don't want to mislead you. I don't, but this is like an approximation. So it's like 95% there. It's just, although some people have said it is similar in the chat to real hardware. So take it with a grain of salt. In real hardware situations, you're looking at about 15 to 18 frames a second. Yeah, I don't want anyone to feel like I'm trying to like mislead anyone on like what this actually is, because I don't I'm not that kind of person. Yeah, exactly. Did anyone actually test this bot? Yeah. So I'm actually surprised we're actually going to finish this, it looks like. Yeah, so it's one of those things for me where it's like, you know, I would love to own the real hardware to play this for real, but at the same time, it's like the 32X is so crazy expensive, and then I'd probably want to buy an EverDrive so I wouldn't have to pay like the inflated game prices. So you're looking at around like 150, 200 there for those two things. I got killed by a cyber demon. Do you know what one of my favorite memories is? Playing Doom Xbox 360 co-op for the first time, getting to Circle of Death, and then there being a cyber demon in the middle of that Circle of Death, like, and getting absolutely destroyed by that thing because I didn't expect it there. Yeah, especially with the age of some of the consoles at this point, like you're really hoping that like your console doesn't like break and you have to buy another one. Because I had to do that with my original Xbox last year. There's a defect on the on the original Xbox. One of the connectors, it breaks down after a certain amount of time, and I think that's what killed that Xbox. I tried to telefrag the cyber demon just to get teleported to the next. Oh yeah, I played Doom 2 co-op for the first time back in 2024 with this remaster. I remember playing Tower Babel and Doom 1 for the first time and immediately running into the cyber demon's rockets. Oh no! I've had Doom ran like ass on 386, and back then many PCs were still rocking these. I was fine with 46 though. Nice! Excuse me. You can see they've really scaled down some of these levels. I remember trying to get the platinum for Doom on PS4 and seeing a cyber demon on Tenements while playing cooperative on Nightmare. That was wild. So there's one achievement I'd love to get. It's the Doom 2 co-op achievement on Nightmare. I haven't got it, but it is one that I want to get at some point. But the thing is, they removed the classic port, so I had to go out of my way to buy that port so I can still access it. Oh god. Okay, run. Yeah, that was messy. Yeah, pistol starting this on this is like pretty nasty. Grab you. I want the cell ammo. I really want the cell ammo from in this room. Because that's how we're good. I'm going to do it the same way we did it last time on the Herbie Plenty. I'm going to try to convince all the barons to come in this room. And then I'm going to run in here, grab the rocket launcher, grab the plasma, and then we're just going to unleash hell on all of these enemies. Because this is the only way I can think you could do this legitimately. Because the problem in this version is there's no actual infighting, so The enemies can still hurt each other, but they can't distract each other. Ooh, this is close. Oh, this is going to be a close one. Okay, I did it. With 10% health, did it. Oof. They did speed up the fire rate in each weapon in this port. That shotgun is rapid. Yeah, so people have commented on that. I think that, yeah, that is definitely a feature. Cool. So I did not expect to have complete this twice in one stream, but this is actually really cool. So I've completed this on Hurt Me Plenty, and we've completed it on Ultraviolence as well. So that's 2 playthroughs we've managed to get through of this today. I mean, that's pretty great. What an ending. Imagine working your way through to get this sound. I've just got a late player for you. No bunny. No bunny in this version. Yeah, so there is a 17th level. It's the secret level, but you can only access the original 15 from the main menu. So yeah, so thank you, James. So yeah, that's it really. You also get this little lovely message if you actually complete it legit. Congratulations. Still very few levels. Yeah, so outside of the shareware version, this has the least number of levels in any official Doom release. Only includes episode 1, 2. Yeah, so Inferno was removed because Carmack felt that the assets took up too much space, so he decided to strip out episode 3. That true music was ass. So yeah, I think people mentioned as well, weirdly, this monster crawl, it features really high-res versions of these enemies that are not in the actual game. These are actually PC renders, which is bizarre. Like, why would they put these in? Congratulations, you've completed a great game. I like that the Baron of Hell is treated like the final boss in this one. So yeah, a monster crawl here from Doom 2 in Doom on 32X. And that's pretty much it for this. I think we've covered pretty much all of the stuff that we could really do. Maybe if they let these renders out, they could have fit more in the levels. Possibly. Like, I don't know what was going on in Carmack's head when he was cutting stuff. I think people would have preferred Inferno over this, but I guess RAM limitations, but why use all those space for these? Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, that's what I was about to say. I don't understand why, like, they've got these in here, because these don't appear in the actual game. They only appear here. So it's like, you could have put something else in the game, like maybe included 1 or 2 Inferno levels. Who knows? But a message appears on Wolfenstein Snares as well when you complete it. But yeah, so in the stream today, we've actually completed this twice now. We've done it on Hurt Me Plenty and we've done it on Ultraviolence. So what I'm going to do next time, next weekend, I'll probably do the Jaguar version because it makes sense to kind of keep... Yo, hey Prafim, how you doing? Was this a case of Carmack wants to show off full resolution sprites? I'm thinking that's more important. Again, Carmack was a very weird guy at times. I have no idea what was kind of like going on in his mind. No, so some people have put Doom 2 onto the Jaguar. I did a video about that. It's really cool. It's just a bit not anything less. It's Doom CD 32X. Oh yes. Can you imagine? Can you imagine such a thing? But yeah, what I'm going to do then, I think this is a good place to stop things, because I think we've done 2 playthroughs. We've played it on Hurt Me Plenty and Ultra Violence, and I think like we've seen all we can really see from this. I think the main takeaway from this is 32X Doom is an impressive beast for the console it was on. But obviously this is a compromised version in some aspects, and I think the level count makes it a lot harder to kind of justify this against the Jaguar version. If you had the choice of the Jaguar version or this, I probably would have chosen the Jaguar version. Video demo port, the Jag with version. But yeah, this has been really fun, and like I said, I'm going to be going through following the path of the in retrospect for these videos. So next weekend, next Saturday, I'll do the Jaguar version. We'll do the same thing with that. We'll have a good time with that. Jaguar is definitely better. Yeah, the Jaguar version is definitely better than this. If you ignore the fact there's no music in the levels, I think that you can say comfortably better. So I'm looking forward to playing that with for you all. So yeah, right now though, like I'm going to sort of step away and get something to eat and all that. I hope you've all really enjoyed this. I am going to be streaming during the week. I might stream later tonight. I might do continue my nightmare run, maybe. See how I feel. There is a video going up on the channel tonight. It'll probably be going up in like 2 hours. I need to finish. When I finish with this, I'm going to go eat, and then I'm going to quickly finish off, and then I'm going to upload it. So yeah, thank you so much, and thank you everyone for hanging out, and thank you for the super chats. I really appreciate the support you guys give me. It's really fun, and yeah, thank you for hanging out.